The Built 2 Media podcast is sponsored by QualityFreightRate.com. Use the promo code BUILT2. Get 10% off your first shipment. Sign up is easy. QualityFreightRate.com.
Hit that button.
The Built 2 Media podcast.
Why is the button sticky, Gunner?
I don't know. Good question.
Dude, it's just what I do.
Built 2. Gunner, Blake, and Zach.
Yeah, I'm a car boy.
The Built 2 Media podcast.
The things you can do with a plumb bob.
Yeah.
Better have the toilet nearby.
A little bing bang, a little bang bang.
A little bing bong.
We created a drinking game.
You know how many times I say, oh yeah. You know how many times you say for sure?
How many? So I guess like
A lot.
Now from the Liquid Nitro Studio, here's your host, Gunner Cummings, Blake Anderson,
Boy, y'all just did a bang up job.
and Zach Todd. Wittest Todd.
Tell you, I hope you listeners got a lot of gas in your tank.
Hit the button.
Howdy, boys. How you doing?
Good.
Great. Got ourselves a guest on today. This is episode 69. We are recording August 1st.
Oh my god!
Couldn't even hold it in, could you?
Wow. Why
Couldn't
would
even
I?
hold it in.
You got the 619 of dirt here.
Yeah. Ray Mysterio.
Yeah.
Couldn't even hold it in a
Or
little
the
bit.
6'9". What's that rapper dude? Talks a bunch of crap.
Oh,
6'9".
Takashi 6'9".
6'9", yeah.
Takashi?
Some people have called me that. They
Dude,
called
his
me.
songs are.
They've called me the
Dude,
6'9"
they're
of
funny.
dirt racing. No lie.
No way. Your
I've had
hair's.
people-
You don't have tattoos
No, just
all
like
over.
you know how he like trolls people real
Yeah,
hard, and, like
that's
talks
true.
crap. That's what they.
The 6'9" of dirt racing?
That's what they said.
Daggum.
I like it.
I've heard it.
I'm a fan.
Well, this is actually kind of perfect because episode 69, I wanted to put the date out there just in case, just, you know, so once it gets out there, it's like, what's up? And just so you know, this is the first episode that we have ever recorded Facebook Live.
Oh snapper!
It is also recorded by our guest, the Chaz, the actual Chaz. Long live the Chaz. The Chaz is in house.
That's a given name.
Chaz.
It's on your birth certificate.
I was
isn't it?
actually wondering.
Chaz
that.
is my birth certificate name, but the Chaz deal was just people just started saying that, so I just started naming it that.
Well, I mean, you are the Chaz.
You are the
Actually,
Chaz.
I guess this is scaring me.
All right, let's
All
get into
stared
this.
at me and called
Here
me a
we
name.
go.
Are we about to do some couch deal or something?
Yeah, well, maybe.
God.
We've done plenty of couch deals.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
All right, I'm Blake Anderson. I will be your host for today.
Not the flow
new
racing.
producer.
Not flow
No,
racing.
not the actual Blake Anderson, but I have been confused.
You're the cool one that's straight.
Hold on. There's a good story though. So
Wait a second here.
I'm kidding, Blake.
What the hell?
I didn't. Hey, I promise, Blake. I didn't see what you and Shawn Michael did in PA in that back room. I promise.
Oh my god.
I promise.
my favorite thing to do is.
Oh my God. Oh,
Hey,
well,
remember-
they denied my credentials at All Stars too. Fuck them.
Remember the time when we said, yeah, we're going to go live, and then this happens.
This is so good.
Anyway,
Oh, we're laughing like we're stoned.
Well,
You know, this is not happening.
Anyway,
What do they put in this beer in Wisconsin? What the hell?
Chaz is over here drinking some juicy peach.
Oh yeah, that's what she said.
and it has begun. I'm telling you,
begun.
magic happens when that record button is hit.
It happened when the Chaz entered the
Oh
room.
my god, I'm
Come on,
sweating already.
stop ego stroking, man.
Because the live stream was pretty tame,
Right.
for start with, and then my brilliant idea, let's just keep going to the, and then Blake hit that button, and then we go from zero to buck stupid. I absolutely freaking love it. Anyway, that's Blake over there.
Okay,
That's Zach.
I'm Zach.
I'm Ben,
Ben.
and that is the Chaz.
That's what they say.
Arguably,
So the birth certificate says Chaz.
Chaz. I shouldn't be saying that. I've heard that identity theft is real. People hate me enough they could pull off some shady shit. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
but with you being the controversial figure that you have
That's
been,
what they keep saying. Yeah.
why would somebody want to take your identity? What are they going to do?
There's
Like,
some
clean up your
there's some
reputation?
psychotic ass Kyle Larson fans out there, but
Okay.
I mean, I call them Larsonites, but they're deranged.
Can we back up just a tick?
So
here
these
first?
Kyle Larson fans, they not like you for a reason.
Oh, well, it's weird. They like half of them like me, and Kyle I think likes me, and Caitlin and all them. They don't mind me. They like me. I think they like me because I make him feel normal. You got to think about somebody like Kyle Larson, and he goes so many dirt races. Everybody is stroking his ego all the time. Their goal in life is to go with to lunch with him or something. Like I make a joke all the time, like you racers out there letting Kyle Larson whoop your ass and are happy about it and saying he's better than you. You must be more concerned with going to lunch with him the next day than whooping his ass on the racetrack. If you don't think you can beat Kyle Larson and you're in one of these upper echelon series, like get out of the car and put someone in the car who thinks they can. Like, what are you? And even Kyle agrees with that. You know, I told him
absolutely,
and he agrees with that. But the fans are just,
dude, they're crazy.
They're caught up in Cole Trickle syndrome, bro. If you're a sprint car guy, you go to NASCAR, you're the biggest name in sprint car racing. You have been for 30 years. It's the biggest detriment to dirt track racing that's ever existed. And you look at the sport of sprint car racing in particular, I think that's why late models are so more advanced. They never had a Cole Trickle syndrome. Like, they never had one driver who goes to another series become a bigger name than their own racers.
Yep.
You know, so he is the Cole Trickle of today's world. It was Tony Stewart. It was Casey Kane. It was Jeff Gordon. It was all these superstars of sprint car racing, you know.
Gravel even tried to do it when he did the truck stuff, too.
Well, and I joke with Gravel because when he came out with that Exalta paint scheme, I mean, I made a joke. He came out with it in May. I said, it fixes in, it's over. Like, he's going to win Knoxville Nationals, going to win every week, every night, and destroy him. Because you ain't going to have Jeff Gordon's Illuminati ass come up in here and lose the race, you know? I mean, that's how these occultists work, you know? I mean, that's what they do. So you ain't going to have him come up in there and lose. And that's what happened. And I made the joke with Gravel when he tried to go to NASCAR, blah, 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 and then COVID ruined his NASCAR opportunities.
Yeah.
But, you know, the difference, and back to Larson in a way, the difference between Kyle Larson and David Gravel is, you know, or any elite racer is an opportunity at 16 years of age to go to NASCAR and get a $5 million loan from a buddy.
Right.
Yep.
You know, I mean, we're talking about Kyle Larson. Everybody says he came from nothing. I mean, his outlaw cart was sponsored by Parker Stores.
Yeah. And QRC.
What are you talking about?
Right.
QRC makes this car.
And it's a really detrimental, and obviously, obviously, you have this, oh God, we're just changing subjects. You have Brexton Bush coming along here with his, I got into some stuff with the Brexton Bush, Kyle Busch situation.
This podcast sponsored by Thunder Hill too, by the way.
Okay, well that's fine. Y'all do what y'all need to do over there.
No, you go ahead.
I'm just saying.
I want to hear this.
We got the
Chaz need to hear this.
Here's the biggest thing that's bad about the Kyle Larson deal, and even the Jeff Gordon deal. Because who set the stage to be a star in sprint car racing? You got to be 5 years old in a go kart, 14 in a sprint car, and 20 in a damn cup racing vehicle. That was Jeff Gordon.
Right.
And it was a sprint car driver from California who couldn't afford to go to Indy, you know, and he went to NASCAR and raced for Rick Hendricks. Sounds like Cole Trickle, but no, that's Jeff Gordon. Mm-hmm. Even though Jeff Gordon was 4 years after. I would love to know how Scientology and Tom Cruise. And then the wreck and turn 4 at Daytona. How did they get that?
Know.
Rowdy Burns wrecks and turn 4 at Daytona and don't come back, and then in real life that happens.
I know.
You know, and that was where Cole
weird, though.
Cole went from the City Chevrolet paint scheme to the Superflow. Jeff Gordon went from the Rainbow to the Flame. Whoa, boy. What are you talking about? And then the next Jeff Gordon that comes along is Kyle Larson, and he's racing a cocky asshole named Russ Wheeler or Kyle Busch in a blue and yellow 18, and he's driving for Earnhardt Ganassi. What are you talking about? Anyway.
Man,
back
you
to
could go all over with that.
Well, hey, that's just...
I've never seen... Like, I've kind of put some of it. I never went that far.
Oh, dude. Felix
That's
Sabatis.
psychology, man.
Hey, no, that's following the occultists I'm talking about.
It's Illuminati confirmed.
No, hey, you know Shining, Murder Red Rum,
Yes.
forwards and backwards occultist. What number was Jeff Gordon? 24, right? What number was that Earnhardt Ganassi vehicle?
42.
Ooh, 424 is the area code to Los Angeles, by the way. But anyway,
What the
outside,
Am I getting murdered tonight?
Hey.
Am I getting murdered tonight?
Hey. 666 is 18, right?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Hold on. Plus one more is what?
24.
Oh.
Stop
Oh.
this. This is getting out of control.
Oh, no, we want to joke.
You totally put...
there. It's just conspiracy. It's all a joke. It's all a lie.
You totally put 200,000 miles on in a car a year, don't you?
Spiders in the house, bro. Anyway, no, the problem with the Brexton Bush, the kids racing, this is what influenced kids to start racing at 5 years old, was this shift.
Right.
And Cycle Land, I've been there, where Kyle's from, and there's like 130 carts out there. You know, they're racing. You know, they're trying, and I noticed like parents being like kids not really being into it. Parents, I got to know one of them, and I asked one of the parent moms of the kids. I was like, how many kids actually want to be here? You know, and she's like, maybe like 5 or 10, and it's like, what the hell? You know, that's kind of where I really started seeing, like, and I've always been about promoting the 30-year-old dirt racer, you know, because that's where these Dale Earnhardts or real skilled racers are. Right. You know, if Dale Earnhardt don't make it to NASCAR in today's world, he's racing a damn street stock or a late model if he's lucky. Yeah. You know, you got to... and the world has no idea about this stuff. They have no clue how much this stuff costs. You know, they think that, you know, a sprint car's $10,000 or something. You know, it's like, that's not true. So, regardless, I think that the kid deal is really bad because it's a lot of psychotic parents. Yeah. Yes, it's a lot of psychotic parents. If you can't decide, and this is going to flip some scripts on people, if you can't decide, if you want to stand on the fact, which I'm with you, that a boy or a girl can't decide if they're a boy or a girl before they're 10 years old, you know, they're all like, well, you can't decide what you want to be in life. How are you going to decide if you want to run a race car in a corner at 140 miles an hour and die today, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good point.
What the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, why are you, and that's why I promote the older people, promote the UMSS guys. You know, you're old enough to decide, and you're old enough to earn what you got. Because you get a lot of people in there that don't know what it is to earn what they have. You know, you brought up a prime example talking about Earnhardt. Thinking Earnhardt doesn't make it in today's world of NASCAR. You're 1,000% correct. His grandson, Jeffrey Earnhardt, though, is 32 years old and is coming up
trying to earn it.
And is coming up through the ranks properly, in my opinion.
So,
go ahead, sorry.
The NASCAR stuff in the truck series, a podcast I listen to, Door Bumper Clear, all the time, they're like, where are these people even coming from now? It's just money. It's literally buy the ride. Back then when like Matt Kraft and Todd Bodine, all those guys would race, it's like they were like blue collar labeled. Like that's what the truck series was.
But the problem with Door Bumper Clear is they still mask for their investors.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Freddie Kraft mask for his investors.
Well, just look at like, and they have to. They're in a vulnerable position. You know, they're in a show that is funded by this industry that is pulling all this bullshit off.
Right.
You know, so they can only criticize it so long.
They got in trouble for criticizing. They were like, when NASCAR called them to the hauler, they changed.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you can't be free and be in that world. I mean, look at how they mask Hailie Deegan. I mean, she ain't doing nothing special. They can keep saying that she's getting wrecked every week, but.
You run up front every week.
Kyle Busch, and no disrespect, Kyle Busch can drive. I mean, he's a douchebag according to some people. I didn't have no issues with him, but he can drive. I had an issue with the situation at Tulsa, but I don't have an issue with Kyle Busch or Brexton. But if Kyle, this damn beer, if Kyle Busch can jump in your truck and just go and win, you know, like he does sometimes, then you can't be just telling me every week that Hailie Deegan's just getting in bad situations and people are running her
run up front. They qualify now.
Right. I mean, what are you doing?
Well, that's what I'm like. That's what they're saying. I'm like, there's so many random people coming from random places. It's like, where's the talent?
Right.
It's like write the check.
Right. Well, and that's here's the simple fact is what we're talking about is a secret.
Yeah.
Like this is a secret. Like if people on ESPN knew about all this money deal and where they get their people, like regular people literally look at it like a sprint car. If you're racing a sprint car at 25, it's like NBA D League.
Right. Yeah.
Like you just sucked. You weren't good enough at 14 or 15 to graduate to trucks at 18 or 7. They don't have no clue that it's $1.2 million for ARCA ride, or $5 million to $3.5 million for a truck, or $15 million for an Xfinity, and $20 for a Cup.
$60,000 for one ARCA race.
They don't know this stuff,
right?
And if that got out, this whole NASCAR thing on top would be destroyed instantly. They would lose all credibility. Yeah. Their credibility is based on this illusion that they have these Tom Brady's, when really they have like some fucking Johnny Manziels.
Yeah.
They got Johnny Manziels and Tom Brady can't afford to play with them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they got. I mean, they got a Kyle Larson who's great, and this is the other reason why I hate on Larson is because Kyle Larson keeps that dirt is like where kids come from going.
Yeah,
Correct.
that illusion.
Yeah, he keeps it going.
And he has brought a lot of it together.
Well, he has, but he helps in a way of exposing it. But if you notice, like even the NASCAR media, you didn't see anything about Kyle Larson, at the World 100 or the Dream, or when he runs badge, you don't hear about that shit.
Well, they
you
don't
only
bring
hear
it
about
up.
it when he wins, because that keeps that, once again, this illusion that we're talking about that would completely destroy. It would destroy NASCAR if everyone knew how this worked.
Yeah.
If everyone knew how this money thing worked, their whole reign or status or respect that they got would not be in existence, period. So that's why I think I get pushback, because I'm fighting a lot of illusions and I'm trying to educate them on why
you're thinking outside the box. You're looking at
I'm
the
looking
big
at the
picture.
business.
You're fighting capitalism.
No, because I would say it's closer to imperialism.
That's true.
I would say that this racing world is more like a monarchy.
Yeah,
It's
you're not
run
wrong.
by families who have a lot of money and power and position and have bought medias and control who's coming up, who's going.
And that's why they always bring
That's
up
true.
the TV shit.
Yeah, that's
All the time. It's always about the TV part.
Well, and the TV deal's
Because they
dying.
own it.
It's dying though.
Going
TV's
to streaming.
dying. It's all going to streaming.
All right.
You're
Before
raising
we
the
get
hand
too
there.
far,
I've already educated you on the 424. He's already on his phone looking up Los Angeles 424. It's
Before we
legit.
get too far into this good conversation, I want to go back to when you brought up Cycleland.
Okay.
So I want to go back to the whole go-kart thing.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, look around. This is all go-karts.
Right.
So my biggest thing, Cycleland, I saw that from afar. How it was like 5 kids that wanted to be there, but 15 that didn't.
Right.
When I went down to Knoxville, same way. That's actually where the one and only time I physically can say I raced Kyle Larson was down at Ingles Creek. I've seen the same thing. I mean, Kyle, yes, he's young. He's playing with Matchbox cars in the dirt. But he flew in on a plane the day after I'd already been there. His trailer was there the day
How
I
old
got
was
there.
he?
Probably 6, 7, 8.
has no.
somewhere in
He
there.
came from nothing though. Honest.
He came from
I
nothing.
want
Hold on.
I want your,
Hold on.
Came from. I just want to reiterate to these psychos who think that it's
Right.
nothing.
Right. Well, QRC, so on the Kyle Larson thing, QRC is the only one that was really making frames back then. They gave him carts.
Elledge?
And he
Was
had
it Elledge at the time or no?
Nope. It was Jimmy's. No, not Jimmy. Somebody else.
Jimmy Elledge is the one that has it now.
Right. It was somebody else before that, prior. But anyways, it was a QRC. I mean, 3 different carts, 125s, 250s, 500s. He was racing all 3 of them. Granted, he could drive the shit out of them. But I want to go back to, like, Cycleland. So, Cycleland, yes, I seen that. Knoxville, I seen that too. Everything in the Midwest, Thunder Hill, well, even right now, Rice Lake, Eagle Valley, every single kid that goes there to race right now here, 100% different story.
Okay.
I didn't
Out
see that
there?
at Cedar Lake though.
Huh?
When I went to Cedar, I didn't see that.
Well, we're just talking about
Thunder
these.
Hill, I saw more of that.
300, yeah. Thunder Hill, it is literally like all the kids want to go there to see their friends, play with their friends, race against each other, have fun at the end of the night. Rice Lake, same thing for the most part. Eagle Valley, who else am I? Mississippi Thunder. I mean, it's all that way, but it seems like every time we go out of state, it's
There's
always
only one reason.
How many
literally
professional
like money.
How many professional drivers do we pull out of Wisconsin? Or how many compared?
I was-
how many compared to North Carolina?
I was about to say the reason those kids ain't like that is because the last guy to come out of here that was any kind of good didn't have to do it the whole bitch
Yeah.
kid way, and that's Matt Kenseth, I would assume.
Right. Josh Blicky's in the cup. Or no, it's not Josh Blicky. It's what's his name from down south?
I just wanted
Barry?
to bring that fact up.
No, it's not Barry. It's besides he races the cup. He buys his ride in the Cup Series because.
But you're saying that this whole just in it because the parents want him to do it. It's not
like
the
a
case.
West Coast, East Coast type of thing.
Well, but we're outside of that area. Is outlaw karts popular?
Right here.
I mean, that's
about
though,
it.
but where
Up and
else?
coming,
I mean, down in down in the South, it's all micros because of Chris Bell.
That's true.
I mean, it's all about idolized.
Micros are ridiculous, by the way. I love watching them. Don't get me wrong. I want to race one. We got one, but I'm just saying, like, Who can afford 30,000 for a 6-year-old to go race?
Yeah, well, 10J. I mean, I know
Smith Titanium has a $4,500 complete front axle for a micro sprint car if you want to buy it.
Axle only.
Man, I believe it.
I built my sprint car front end for $1,000 and it was all brand new stuff.
I spent a decent amount of time around shootout and a decent amount of time in PA, which they got a very strong micro scene too. Home of Hyper. You know, that thing is just weird. You know? But you can, I made a joke and it's true. You can probably make more money with a high dollar limit micro organization just hitting all the big micro shows than you can running a World of Outlaw sprint car hitting all the money shows.
Damn near.
You know, I mean, what Frank Flood, I mean, I think he told me at one time he made 6 figures in 1 year in profit.
In a micro.
And he would just run around, hit all these 10 grand, 5 grand. If you make a schedule, you can pretty much race for 5 grand minimum in a micro. But you got to travel.
Right.
But you ain't got big. You ain't got to have a giant semi. You know, you could have 3 cars in a little 28 footer. You know, but it's
I just don't understand why it ever got to that point in the karts though either, because it was basically like Kyle Larson.
But you're saying it's not here.
I've never seen it that way here, to be honest. Like at Thunderhill, I mean, it's all family.
There's a 500 cart at Thunderhill right now in a beautiful toter home from Washington State. We don't see that here. We don't get toter homes.
No.
Nah.
And like when Bush was here the other day, I mean, granted, it's Kyle Busch. Nothing against him. That's the equipment he has.
Makes a ton of money. So,
but all of a sudden, there was like 3 other of these huge trailers coming in.
His buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and we got Junior Wings.
And they're over there with the laptop working on the car.
Right. I'll take it.
Yeah,
kind of.
More than likely.
Absolutely. But, you know, like us, it's still you're pulling it into the track with the truck box or granted now, yes, okay, me personally speaking, I'm sure someone's like, well, you bring a freaking big 40-foot trailer. Well, yeah, that's because it's the one trailer we have for my sprint car that we've had for since 2008.
It's not a $500,000 toter home.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right. You're just saying pretty much
Well, there's guys that do show up in toter homes with go-karts, but
it's also used for...
Yeah, it's not exclusively used for go-karts. Right. And to me, you know, you're talking about money buying speed and that whole argument. I look at a guy like Joey Logano.
Oh, God.
You know.
Mr. Sliced Bread.
Exactly.
Short track reason.
Or I would call him, you know, some type of lineage to the 5 families that ran the northeastern part of the United States for 50 years.
Mm-hmm. There's no reason why he, you know, it's the definition of money buying speed right in there. You know, he bought his way into NASCAR. His dad did.
He was in NASCAR in 18.
I don't know why I've never liked him ever one time.
Because he's a cock.
Yeah, I've never once liked him either.
Dude.
Did you see where I caught him at Volusia?
No.
Oh, God. I caught him when he was running that modified.
Oh, yeah. I heard that. Demolition Derby, you mean?
No, he ran at Volusia in a UMP modified, and I went and interviewed him and was kind of being nice, and I was like, so how is it to, you know, run out here with 80 cars that you got to compete with? You know, usually over there in Cup, you only got to really worry about 8 or 10 cars. And then he just kind of caught that I was trying to, like, get him. And he's like, oh, I don't know about that, but there's a lot of good drivers. And I was like, something happened. I was like, all right, well, good luck. You know, no water bottles, you know, because Tony Stewart and him like that. Everybody loved it. But he's okay. He's really tall compared to
he is
It's
tall.
like an alien in person, you know.
Really?
Long arms.
Yeah, he's very lengthy.
Pretty lanky, yeah.
Yeah, lanky. Like Snoop Dogg, but white.
Oh,
And
sure.
with hair.
And no rhythm.
No, not at all.
None, zero.
Like if you put a beat behind him, he wouldn't even tap his toes.
Well, and that's weird because I look at racing as so rhythm based.
Yeah, I agree.
It's very rhythm based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's just that wouldn't make no sense. I would consider if you're an elite race car driver, you should have a decent rhythm. You should be able to pretty much shoot 3-pointers very well. You know, anything that takes that kind of edge to hit something far
literally
away.
a 25 lap feature is about rhythm.
Well, if you think about it, you're kind
sense.
of, and I raced a little bit. You're kind of like, you're aiming for a little spot on the track, like 50 feet, 100 feet away, and you're like, you're like throwing a football to hit that spot that's moving, but it's like you're throwing a car.
Your car's got to be set
Right,
to get
you're
to
throwing
that
it with
spot.
your arms and your feet in unison. It's one of the most technical things there is to do. Really.
A great example of that, and like the only good thing that came out of the movie Driven is when Sly Stallone was going around
the
quarters
Yep.
and picking up a quarter on each tire, and
Totally lost.
Okay, so
Driven. It's the Jimmy Bly, Sylvester Stallone IndyCar movie.
It's a terrible movie. Don't waste your time.
Okay.
If you like Rocky, watch it. In the beginning, he's actually in a bar in PA, and they're watching sprint cars on the TV.
I'm gonna watch it now. Indy cars and sprint cars.
But
Finish this.
It's an Indy car. It's kart.
No, it's Formula One.
No, it's kart.
Is it kart?
It was kart.
Okay.
Before kart died, it was
say
kart.
Card died.
I got a
pretty hard.
I got a good story with that. With the whole,
Wow.
Point being is
This
that
just-
he takes 4 quarters with him in his car, stops at random spots throughout this racetrack, flips out quarters, and then he goes full speed next lap, and he slides over each quarter that he puts out
with the rear tires.
with all 4.
I thought he was trying to do it with the rear tires.
Maybe it was just the right rear.
There was a
It was just
He
the
was
right rear.
trying to. Okay, so he's like an older veteran in the movie, and he's trying to teach his younger teammate that's new how to drive better.
Oh wow.
And
Let's
he's
try
like,
that
he
next
goes
week.
into the rain. I thought it was like rainy day, and he flips quarters on the track, and they tell the Jimmy Bly, which is his protege, yeah. He's like, he's gonna pick the quarters up, and he's like, why is that so special? He's like, he's gonna do it with the rear tires, and he's like, oh, you can't do that. And then they show him out there fucking throwing the cart sideways to catch the quarters with the rear tires instead of the front.
wow.
That's why I thought it was
I remember
rear tires.
Shane Stewart.
That might be right.
Shane Stewart did something similar. I remember his story in Open Red, that podcast. He did it with chalk, though, instead. Like, his left rear tire had to be on the chalk line the entire time.
Oh, okay.
So,
But anyway, point being is that guys like him in that movie anyway could do exactly what you're talking about, getting a person to do, like you said, aiming for a mark 75 yards away that is the size of,
Right. Right.
size of a quarter, essentially.
Right. You got to be here because if you're there, you're in the B.
Yeah.
The difference between the B main is this far, and the difference between winning is that far. So
Correct.
you're aiming a car.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're doing it with your hands and your feet. And your feet when it's dry slick.
And if you're a kid trying to do that, the average attention span of a 12-year-old today is 90 seconds. Now, if you're a kid trying to do that,
Fuck.
exactly.
I'm like 9 years old.
Well, the thing is, I think that's why racing gets kids to pay attention, because the one thing that'll get your focus really fast is the threat of death.
Yeah.
And in a race car, I don't know who's been in them. It don't really matter if you're in a stock car or a sprint car. You feel like if something goes wrong here, this could be the last moment. You know, I mean, when you're in a go-kart on the ground and you're doing 45, it feels like you're doing 100. You know?
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
Cam answered one question for me when he crashed, when he hit the wall, because that opening, because you remember you can always hit that on iRacing, but I'm like, what the fuck would happen with that if you hit in a sprint car?
Right.
Well, you answered that question, but I've always thought about that. If you just biff one entry at Cedar Lake and plow the wall, what would happen? And he answered.
Hell, that heat race the other day when that dude just went off the track. That was
That was bad.
I thought
I missed it.
somebody
Well,
might have
tell
died
me
today.
more.
I mean,
What happened? Yeah. Blake and I
dude, in
tell
the
me
heat
more.
race, I was standing in 3 filming, but they go into 1 and 2, and all of a sudden this car just darts off the track. And that opening in 1 and 2 just
His
leaves
car.
the facility.
Chevalier?
Yeah.
Really?
Just
He
left?
took the exit.
So
I'm outta here, bro.
Kurzman, like, his motor didn't take off, so he just slowed down in the green flag. He just didn't go.
It still
And then he
looks-
started going up the racetrack, and Carter was like on the outside, and all of a sudden I'm like, he's gonna hit the tires, like he's gonna fly,
yeah.
and then he just flies off the racetrack.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy!
Did
Apparently
the car
everything
jump
was
like
okay.
iRacing?
I don't know.
Apparently everything was okay. I
He just
we
come
didn't
back
hear
on the
nothing about-
track, or
No,
what?
he went to the pits.
Yeah, he went to the pits and
He
came
should have
back up.
loaded up and been like, I'm not good enough for
Dude,
this.
I couldn't
or
imagine
something.
though, like that. That would have scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I hate to say this. I have to take a restroom
Okay.
break.
Sounds
It's
good.
the Wisconsin beer.
That's fine.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I should
Oh,
have
yeah.
went
You
before
just
I came.
kitchen, left.
Do y'all have to pause it?
Nah,
No, we'll just
editing.
Talk
There
shit
will be
about
an
me while I'm
idiot.
gone. Yep, I
Yep,
got it. I've
edit,
seen this
edit.
on Joe Rogan. They all talk shit about the guy who leaves.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do right
That
now.
is what's
Completely.
going to happen. Yes.
Make sure you tell everyone on there that you're going to take a pee.
I'm going to pull out 1.5 inches and get rid of a gallon.
Nice. Anyway, this is fun.
That was a good podcast, everybody.
Yep. We have any? There are
Dude,
some
there's still
questions.
so many questions that I need to ask.
Oh, we'll get into them. So we need to edit from 29.
29.
29 minutes.
All right. This is where we need Jeopardy music or something playing.
Dun-dun,
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 dun-dun. Oh, I thought at first I thought you were going Rage Against the Machine there.
Oh no, sorry.
I'm sad now.
Wait, what is it? Dun it.
That's Super Mario Brothers.
Is there anybody in the live feed right now, Zach?
We have 11 people.
Hello, everybody. Chaz is taking a pee break. I hope you're all interested. If we get some good feedback from the live feed, then we will keep doing live feeds while we record. Episode 69.
A lot of truth flying around this BS session.
Yeah. I kind of want to go back to his whole promoting 30-year-olds type of deal because I totally agree with it.
I want his background, like what got him
No,
started.
We'll get there.
talk,
I'm sitting on it.
Money.
Huh?
Money.
What about it?
I just get obsessed with the financial
Oh,
stuff.
he's
of
back.
racing.
All right. Hold on. Yep. No. No, nothing. You got rid of a gallon that fast?
Wow.
All right. Text me this.
So
29 to 31.
Whoa, what in the hell's happening now?
29 minutes to 31. You took a 2-minute
So
pee break.
I have a question. So we obviously
Okay.
You follow 410 sprint car stuff.
Supers?
I've learned that from now this could be wrong, but it's close to this probably.
Just say it.
Brand new 410 motor right now is going for $70,000. Is that a problem?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do about it? I mean, that's why I try to, honestly, when I'm justifying, like this last week before I came up here, when I'm justifying to go to Prairie Dirt, to go to New York, World of Outlaws,
Right.
super late mile race, or do I go up here? Because, I got a little bit of a following over the last 4 years. I got a couple people, new in the YouTube. YouTube's a little bit more of a loyalty following. It ain't just like Facebook. If you get good on Facebook, it's like people just checking what their mom's doing and then your
Right.
videos there. I mean, that's seriously. That's what YouTube is like at the top of the bar as far as hard to do. To me, it's like what's valuable. So not to jump topic, but there's this TikTok comedy guy that I know, and he has 30 million followers, and all of his videos, he's got 20 million, just every one of them. And he's on there at his last video saying, please go like my Facebook page. And I go to his Facebook, and he's got 3,000 likes, on Facebook. But he's got millions of views. But it just shows how impactful it actually is. It's like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all this other crap.
Yep.
So I got this YouTube thing going where I got, a bunch of Hunt the Front and Super Late Mile fans, John Davenport and all these people, and I got Gravel and Shots and World of Outlaw fans follow me. And I see it. I made the decision to come up here instead of do that stuff because it's I know that 70,000 is bullshit, but I know it ain't going to change.
Right.
I know the difference between a guy running good at Jack Berger or one of your hitters around here or at 305 somewhere across the country. Pennsylvania is a great example of this. There's guys in 305s that are World of Outlaw talents without World of Outlaw money.
Yep.
And 90%, and I'll give some respect, probably 40% of the World of Outlaw field deserves to be there. What the fuck is Bill Rose still doing in that 6 car? Why is he not putting a driver in the car? I'm not even just going, Craig Kinzer.
Yeah.
Either start speeding up or put someone in the fucking car and be an owner.
Yep.
Jason Sides did it.
I can't
And look,
of
I'm
that.
not even gonna say. I'm gonna say this because I just talked to him and I said this. Pat Donahue.
Yeah.
I just met him. I don't know who he is really. 34 double D. I like triple D's. He likes
Brady.
double D's. That's
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is he was talking about how he brought in all these drivers to drive this 34 D's. Got all these names, all this stuff, and what's his name? Matt. I know. What's 61 car?
Oh,
Mike
Mike
Mueller?
Mueller.
Mike Mueller, yes, came in the trailer. He's like, "Oh, here's Mike Mueller and all this. He's done all this. Well, they're all buddy talking how he's so
Right.
good." I said, "Why ain't the fuck you put him in your car? Why ain't you put him in your car? Why are you bringing in a bigger name
Yeah.
to put in your car? Why not promote from within?" I said it to the PA owners over there. They do this. You got 70 fucking 305s. You got some of the best micro racers in the country. I mean, Kyle Spence to me is better than Kyle Larson. Why are you bringing in, and no disrespect, Kerry Matson to run that car that went under. I forgot what number it was. If I was thinking about it for a minute, I'd probably bring it up. But they brought in Kerry Matson to run the car, and then Kerry Matson leaves. They shut the team down. And there's other drivers, other car owners that if they can't bring in a name, they just shut it down.
Why do you need
when
a
you
name?
got a guy right here who's racing weekly, got 10 race wins, 10 out of 12 or whatever, a Jack Berger, whatever, name the names.
2 track championships
Why-
and 7 straight feature wins is what got Cole Trickle himself into that NASCAR ride.
Well, that's not necessarily the same case, but in a weird way, there's a lot of these 70,000 for a fucking 410's bullshit. But you got to start, and what I'm saying is I came up here for UMSS, I believe that's right.
Yep.
Yes.
To try to give a little bit of glamour or some spotlight on some guys who ain't got the money for $70,000, may have $70,000 talent. Like Jake Neal at the Silver Dollar Nationals. I did a video with him. Yeah. He's a local, super limited late model driver who's really badass. He just don't have a fucking, $1 million budget. Yeah. To be in a Davenport car.
Right.
You could maybe plug him in that 49 and he might do just as good, might do better. Believe it or not. Wow. Right. That's why I say with Kyle Larson, there's only one Tom Brady. There's always a Peyton Manning and an Aaron Rodgers. What about all these other guys that there's only one God? There's not two. Okay, Christians. Whatever. You need to Hindu your ass up. Think about the other ones that are out there, all right? Come on. Hey, Greek mythology, right? We're in imperialism. What I'm saying, though, is that's right, but that's never going to fucking change. The only thing that can change is respect for the other drivers that are in other cars that just aren't for $70,000, they're $30,000 305s, or they're junk ass 360s, or they're UMSS LS cars. The only thing that's going to make any difference there is getting the respect for those drivers so that they can start moving up. Because right now there's no hope.
Yeah,
there's no hope.
And honestly, there's no respect for a 305 driver. It's terrible.
Why?
Too.
Why? And just how
there's no respect for a UMSS stuff. Cam Shaffer is in the Nowing side of UMSS stuff. Cam and Mike have kicked ass in our series, but they get no respect if you go talk to any. It's pathetic.
Cam was actually on the top of the list for sprint car wins last year.
He won 16. He won 16 out of the 22 races in our series.
He's the all-time leader in traditionals for UMSS with now 44
and it's like an uber competitive. The
saying,
Nowing side is like uber competitive. It's crazy.
In the sprint car world, Sheldon, all the way up there. He was above a lot of them guys as far as wins go. Granted, that's 4 different tracks, but still.
Sheldon.
So they have so I don't even remember who does it, but there's somebody who does sprint car wins throughout.
So you're talking about Hodenshaw.
Yep.
Okay.
So it was every name possible that drives sprint cars.
Right.
And Cam was up in the top 10 by the end of the year. As far as for how many wins in an actual sprint car.
Well, and competition does matter. Like when I made a joke with Craig Kinzer there, I mean, in a weird way, you could put Craig Kinzer in the All-Stars and he might be the champion.
Correct.
He's probably just
totally agree.
Right there with Bill Baylog. I don't even want to.
Come on.
I don't even want to. I mean, Bill Baylog, I saw him come over here and outspin most of the IRA, and that's why he did what he did. That's
how I feel about the IRA too. It's who can outspend each other.
Who can spend each other, yeah.
That's how that series is.
So that's why I kind of ignore lower 410 divisions and even higher echelon 360 divisions because, like ASC you're almost buying your way there.
I completely agree.
And there you got to deal with the monarchy of the Hans. Blake Hahn's a great driver, but it's hard. I mean, if they'll pull some shit like they did with Kyle Busch at Shootout and try to slip somebody in just for having a big name, what will they do for their own? That's a Han organization as well. I mean, Chili Bow and all that, it's Hans.
Yep.
So, I mean, and I'm not saying I love Blake. I love it. Tom Hahn, his dad, we got a relationship. He's a great racer. He could be really good, but they don't even have 410 money, Right. That's why I do kind of give more eye to a micro racer. I look at stuff. If you got $30,000, if you got $30,000 of expendable fucking income, which this is the bottom of open wheel racing, $30,000 of expendable. We're living in a world where 84% of Americans, if they have $1,000 bill, they're broke.
Right.
And we're talking about people who can afford $30,000 of expendable income a year.
That's literally just to shut the door on the trailer and go to the track.
Right. So that's why I say at $30,000, and at $30,000, you could compete in a 305. You could compete in a micro. You could compete.
You can build 2 cars for the UMSS.
I'm just saying, at that price range, I'm thinking that's where you find your Brady's, your Rogers, your guys who had to earn hearts. That's where the guys who have had to get out of high school at 18, then find a fucking way to earn $30,000 to throw away and not spend it on a house. not have women be the main thing in their life where they feel like they have to get a big house and a big car to attract the woman, but to actually invest in themselves to find $30,000 to expend on a racing career. These are the guys who are very driven and determined to be a race car driver. If you're at 30 years old getting into sprint car racing or 28 or 27, that's a lot of effort right there. Or street stock or a crate late model. You can say same things for the crate late model guys. Any of these divisions that are in that $30,000 range.
Yep, I totally agree.
So
with you.
Your question, this is kind of just my answer to it. It's a little more complicated than that because $70,000 for a 410 is bullshit, but it's not going to change because the greed and the corporatism and the cliques of the racing world. It could change. Donnie Schatz wanted the LS motor to be pushed through.
Yeah, but guess who?
But then you got to fight Gertie. You got to fight. You got to fight all these boys that are in the cliques with the Outlaws who are gonna. Yeah,
that's what I've heard is that the engine builders didn't want it.
Right.
Because it didn't make them money. And that's what I was asking.
It was going to shut them down. But what I'm saying is that should be proof. If Donnie Schatz wants to do something and it can't go through, there ain't nothing else in the fucking room talking about it going to do.
Exactly.
Well, that would have been a way cheaper option, too.
It would have
been. It was a
right
$30,000. A NASCAR truck motor from Ilmore, who makes them, is $32,000 right now.
Yeah, and wide.
And it lasts. I figured it out. So a 410 motor before it needs to be refreshed is like, I think it's like 200 miles.
It's 400 laps.
Yeah,
according to Ryder, it's 400 laps.
Stupid.
So I went to Justin Woodall's shop.
Okay, so you're maybe talking 120 miles, basically 150 miles.
So Justin Woodall's shop is he's a young and up and coming PA sprint car racer, but they do have a bunch of expendable income with his dad and everything. I went and did a talk show with them, and they had a board where they wrote down their laps, and they had brand new riders, brand new chassis. And he said every 400 laps we have to shut this motor down.
And how much is the rebuild? I've seen
15 to 20.
Yeah, it's 15. Yeah, I seen Marshall. Was it Jennifer?
Not sure.
But so obviously their Marshalls are owned in Clausen Marshall and Stenhouse Marshall, and they're $15,000 for a rebuild. It's like, what? Like, where does the money come from?
Good Lord.
Well, that's Priority Aviations and all those, and then you mix in the foundations like Race Rudine, and then you mix in BC 39, Driven to Save Lives, and you mix in all these different foundational groups, and then you go see Priority Aviation is based in Mena, Arkansas, and then you go look at what Arkansas is, and then
you got all the connections.
They don't even want me to start. I can't continue. You won't know who I am by Thursday if I talk too much.
Well, if you go to Cedar Lake, just don't get stabbed.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, my God, bro. He had to bring up Dennis Erb Jr. again, bro? No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, it's not, obviously, it's...
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't going to change that money deal.
No.
You can only change the respect.
I was going to ask you, it's like, how do you go back to... Because Dale Earnhardt got money eventually, but, like, how do you go back to that? Because I feel like a lot of the time, 99% of the time nowadays, it's not that way.
And I'm just going to keep on talking business.
But it's interesting, though. It's like you don't hear much
Here's
of this.
the truth. Here's what I think the truth is. Maybe you're wrong, but here's what I think the truth is. What I think the truth is that, and this y'all are going to start laughing as soon as I say it, you got to outprice the little man.
Yeah.
And you got to make it to where if a little man can get in, you own his ass. Because you got to be able to dictate things. You got to be able to make sure things work. If you can afford to be there and no one can tell you you're going to continue no matter if everyone is out of your way or not, they can't control you.
I even see it in my work industry.
But the reason I say that is at the end of the day, money runs the world, and there's two quick ways to move money, and that's tax dollars and gambling. And when they talk about summer 2001, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. won that race at Daytona and he's half throttle out front, there's a couple million on the line for someone else to win that race.
Yeah.
Gambling. You got to be able to set this shit up to dictate finishing orders, or you...
Jimmy Spencer said that race is fixed. Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Well, regardless
calls
if it's fixed or not, we're dealing in an industry here where we could say money runs everything, yeah, but how much money will people pay to live?
Right.
The currency above money is life.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with mafias and private defense contractors
Holy
and actual
shit.
guerrillas, hey, these are the people that are out there. You act like we just want to exist like it's not there.
You're talking
When
about
you fuck with gambling, that's who you're fucking with. These
Yeah.
people who own life and death. They don't
Yeah.
care about your money.
Count cards at a casino and see how it goes.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You're dealing with people, and
Yeah.
if you can be in an industry like
Well,
when you
hold
can
on.
dictate when the horses ain't an animal and they're race cars, and you can dictate which race car runs the best. If you need to move money to another guy, this guy's gonna win the race, and I'm gonna move it real quick.
So could an example be like Brian France and I don't know how familiar you are with like the Jeremy Mayfield story, but I listened to
I talked to Jeremy Phil. We did a show.
he said that Brian France basically screwed him over because he wanted to.
Well-
That's what like this is what he said. Like I don't know if I believe him.
Oh man, you
But,
should
like-
go watch my Jeremy Mayfield raw and uncut. And I'll tell you what, when I brought up this mafia gambling shit, the fucking feed cut. The live feed, he lost connection and then came back and with his fucking shades on. You think I'm joking? Go look up the Long Live Chaz Jeremy raw and uncut.
So we're
And I'll
getting
tell-
murdered. We're getting murdered.
Well, he said if
The
I
lights
keep-
just turned off in there.
Oh shit! Look out! Hey, you ain't got to worry about the people you can see. You got to worry about the people you can't.
We're dead. Lights turned off inside there.
Hey man, if there's somebody like that, it's a ghost. It's a
Well,
ghost
that could
got
be
you.
true around here.
Well, I'm just saying, hey, ghosts are real. I believe
Okay,
it. I
we
believe
need to
it.
calm this down.
No,
all
hold
right.
on. No, what I'm saying, where he's on Jeremy Mayfield, yeah, he got screwed. Fucking beer. He got screwed because he started talking about the other, cults that are out there. He caught Ray Evernham in the back room with little Aaron. He started spreading the rumors. He started talking about who's doing what with who. Jeremy Mayfield. He was the type of guy, he's like us. He ain't going to fucking cut shit. And he was unfortunately in there when NASCAR was kind of their real rise. It was in the 90s when you brought up kart, where I believe Formula One split up kart and Indy to, screw over everybody. And NASCAR took advantage of it with Disney and the Carlisle group. But that's more business, cars. I mean, we could go into the real business. But he was there. The post-Dale Sr. death is when NASCAR took another rise.
Yeah.
That's when they
very
got
true.
really big. And he was in there and talked about Ray Evernham, which Ray Evernham is like, he's a godfather. He's what built Jeff Gordon. He's a part of that. So when you listen to that podcast that he did with Dale Jr., he kind of hints to all that, all the feathers that he ruffled just by being honest and real. And you can't do that. Like I said, on our podcast or my show
who cares
that I
about
do
us?
Well,
This podcast, it's like
No. I'm just saying on my podcast when I started getting deeper into the gambling and stuff, because he brought up how NASCAR officials would penalize you on pit road because they could hear you on the radio talking crap about him on how he wasn't speeding or something like that, and they will actually pop you again just because you talk shit. And I was like, I said to him, so if they can dictate a finishing order like that, what about? I'm trying to figure out how deep it goes. When you equate the gambling aspect, and that's when it cut feet.
So I mean, is that similar then with sanctioned bodies doing what they want, like to the Hot and Shield incident that just happened? Because
Throwing the helmet.
well, you had a caution that I guess I wasn't familiar, but what caution basically should have been thrown wasn't.
No, it's the same flagman that didn't throw a caution. That was the same flagman that's telling Donnie Schatz, who's behind him apparently. I don't know about that. I do know that cautions are mainly thrown from the tower. I
It
know,
was just like the whole. Well, I just said it was that a spin off of because what happened at Cedar, basically, like officials got at it at the.
Well, I know that Cedar deal was very weird. Like I talked to the guy I was filming with Shots in them. It was Shots' guy who got thrown to the ground.
Which makes no
And
sense.
Shots' guy was very apologetic. It was very weird. He's like, I didn't know. He barely just moved me, and everybody was very sweep this under the rug-ish.
Like, what happened, though? Because I don't get it. Like,
he's pushing Sheldon's, this official was pushing Sheldon's car back, and it was hitting the wall. And
just
the guy
kept
ran out
pushing.
there and was like, stop fucking, just started yelling at the official pushing the car.
but why'd the
And
official get like
just
that?
Flipped the fucking switch. Dude, this is, like I said in my video about it, these authoritarian, it's top down. Like,
Yeah.
this outlaw thing is bullying the sprint car world. Get paid what we pay you, do what we say.
Well, is it hurting? Because those guys probably can't run this new series because of the whole platinum deal.
I'll tell you right now, that whole new deal is about to switch everything up. This whole next year is going to be.
I hope it does, because those guys can't run other shows because they sign a contract. Like, it's so bogus.
That's bogus. Yeah, it's completely bogus, and that's the difference between the sprint car and the late model world. Is I could put on $1 million to race sprint car race next week,
and they can't show up.
They can't show up, and that's why I said in my one video, I was trying to explain to new people on YouTube, because we do get to reach new people on there that don't know anything about it. I was like, here's the main differences when you watch a late model race versus a sprint car race, and I was breaking down the corporatism versus capitalism, communism. It's kind of systems, but it's all just like, we own you, and like how the late model world they're paying so much more money to try to attract you to come to their race, the names. Whereas the sprint car world, when they up the pay, it's more so based on charity. It's like, we're just giving this to you because we care. They're not raising the pays to, like, if in late model world, if you want Jonathan Davenport to be there one weekend, if there's a $20,000 race, you got to pay $50,000.
Right.
You know,
Scott Bloomquist wouldn't show up unless it was $10,000 to win.
Exactly,
and $2,000 in show money.
Right. Well, and they would pay him under the table.
Yeah.
But what I mean by that is, like, in the sprint car world, they just pay whatever.
Whoever
you're gonna
shows
come
up.
here.
Just like your video you made of Todd Query.
It's been what?
Right.
It's been $10,000 to win for how long? They don't need to raise. They don't need to raise the pay.
Oh my God. Well, and when
How many years? You should know.
Since it started, right?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long.
Well, what'd you
How's
say on your
inflation
video?
worked on that?
What
Kings Royal. So Steve Kinzer won
in 1984. Kinzer raced for $50,000 to win
Right.
at Eldora, and it was $47,000 to win the Talladega 500.
with Dale Earnhardt.
With Dale Earnhardt Sr. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know how long the minimum pay back then obviously wasn't 10, but there was a lot. There's just as many 10,000 to win shows back then as there is today.
Yeah.
Like when Brock Zierfoss won that race, and I went to go interview him, and it said $10,000. I interviewed him, but I was like, "Why post this? It's $10,000."
Yeah.
Second day at Cedar Lake, this big. You could see the money's made. Look around you. Look at how. Where's the money going?
It was full. Pit's full.
They got
So,
a damn satellite broadcasting there, or whatever that thing was behind the grandstand.
big dirt vision thing.
Yeah, I mean, the streaming money's in there. The streaming money is.
I've heard that the Outlaws. Now this is a rumor I've heard in the pit area, but that Outlaws are pissed at like Dirt Vision right now because they're taking a lot more money than they should be.
I don't know why that's an issue, because World Racing Group owns both of them.
Right. Like the drivers themselves, I guess.
Oh,
like
yeah.
They're pissed at.
Well, here's what's coming. I think what's coming, and what I've been hearing in the rumblings, is they're gonna start a charter system.
Like NASCAR.
Just like, well, the dude who was explaining it to me, I'm not gonna name his name because you all know who he is, and he's very connected and has the money in the sport. He was explaining how, we just need to get these teams. What we're thinking is doing these teams, and we're going to get a cut of the streaming, and the drivers are going to have their deals, and we're going to have ours. And I'm like, you're explaining the charter system.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. And then I turned to the driver of his car. I said, you need to start a union right now, or you're going to get screwed, because that's what the NASCAR drivers are bitching about right now.
Dude, the NASCAR pays garbage.
Well,
like Kyle Busch is getting screwed right now.
Yeah, all the drivers are getting fucked, and the teams are making all the money. And then, at least they get, and that's the bigger thing behind
So do you think it'd be easier to go to like the IndyCar or Formula One type of deal?
That's the rumblings I'm hearing. That's the rumblings I'm hearing from car owners currently in the world.
Because Formula One's successful, and it's like, here's what you get for the year.
Is it successful?
This is successful. They're almost failing. They can't get a manufacturer in their sport.
Well, that's because they got 490 people working for each car. But I'm saying, like, in the sprint car world, if you came out, or even late models, and you said, this is your yearly pay,
no, you can't do that
schedule.
to late models. There's too many little guys in late models.
That's true.
The sprint cars,
that is true.
Sprint cars are close. The late model world's getting paid right, but the sprint cars are more closer to mainstream.
That's true.
Because it's closer to being controlled. You're not going to go mainstream unless you can be controlled.
It has been controlled.
The late model world is wide open.
It makes perfect sense. Like, even you look at the Halls of Fame, the Sprint Car Hall of Fame in Knoxville, beautiful.
Right.
Late Model Hall of Fame in Florence, Kentucky is a pole shed.
Compared.
It's a literal... No, it's a pole shed in Florence. It's a pole shed. You walk in, you see a bunch of door panels, and then they got cars on hoists. That's it. Whereas you walk into the Sprint Car Hall of Fame, you see freaking exhibits.
And it's changed
Right.
up every.
every year or two or whatever it is.
Right.
You know, so that actually, makes a real valid point. Like I was always trying to think of late models. I'm a huge late model guy. I have been forever, not so much a sprint car guy, but being around these hooligans, I'm learning.
They talking crap about us? What y'all doing?
No, go ahead.
No, I'm sure
Don't worry about it.
Chaz,
It's because we're the fatter guys.
I'm texting
here.
Chris saying this is the craziest podcast we've ever done.
Oh, God. You better give me a copy, damn it.
Speaking of conspiracy, right now, that's what they're doing, talking smack
Yeah, they're
about
conspiring against us.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't worry about us.
Just
Finish
because
your-
I ate
finish your
Taco
topic.
Bell before here don't mean I'm fat, bro.
I do-
I got
I,
a black bean Crunchwrap Supreme.
You have said
Vegan,
some
bitch.
things that make.
I'm vegan.
I'm vegan. He sounded like what's his name? Alex Jones. Do that again.
I'm vegan. I'm vegan.
What? Oh my god.
But that
continue.
actually makes perfect sense, though, when you think about it, because your sprint cars, if you talk to any non-racer, and say, I'm going to the races this weekend. Oh, what are you going to see? Late models or street stocks or whatever.
Right.
Are those the ones with the wings on them? Mm-hmm. Okay. No. Oh, you mean there's other forms of racing?
Literally.
Literally.
That's exactly every person.
Yeah.
Right.
So is that why you think that I don't know want to call it dying, but all late models and Lucas Oil late models are getting less people following then?
I think they get just as many people. It's just the deal is, it's back to controlled.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like
No. So late models do get more people. Don't be confused. There's more late model fans than sprint car fans by
Yes.
far.
Oh, absolutely.
By far. Here's the difference though. If I'm a late model fan, I have to go to a World 100, a Fairbury, a Silver Dollar. There's only so many races where everyone is there. Whereas you can go to a Lucas race, but World of Outlaws are racing somewhere else. I'm going to miss out on 5 or 6 of the stars, the big names.
I would argue that Lucas Oil has more of a...
Lucas Oil has, or XR Super Series has done a good. I did work with them, but
Yeah, but Lucas Oil has got more of a following from more upper echelon teams. World of Outlaws has got 6 or 7
when they lost
superstars.
Brandon Shepard, they lost
Yeah,
Rocket
they lost
House
everything.
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They lost the Rocket House car. But what I'm saying though is, it ain't even really dependent on the series. It's depending on which event has all the drivers there at once. Like Prairie Dirt Classic was a World of Outlaws late models event, but it had everyone there, so
Right.
all the fans are there. Whereas if you are a sprint car fan, if you want to go watch the big sprint car people, you go to the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series because that's the only thing that there is.
Right.
The only game
So
in
at
town,
every
yeah.
one of those races, you're getting all of the big time sprint car fans.
Right.
Or at every one of the late Lucas Oil or World of Outlaw races, you're getting a segmented part.
Which
of-
is basically what-
until you get World 100s, until you get, big giant USA Nationals will have everyone in town.
Yep.
And all the late model fans will be there. World 100 destroys the 50-50, the fan attendance destroys Kings Royal. Destroys
Which is basically what you were talking about with the high limit coming in and finally busting up this
And
whole
trying to.
lingo that they have.
well,
with the,
I think they really fucked up with trying to go up against Todd Queering. Like
I agree.
when
with
I talked to
that.
Todd almost acted like he was like in on this thing. Like he sounded enthusiastic about it. Like he had been talking to people and talking to Kyle and to know that all of a sudden they got a race against his plan, because that was the plan from my understanding from talking to people. That was the plan. They moved Jackson after Knoxville to try to get PA guys and other guys to come up and race, because previous years it's paid this good money and they get 30 fucking cars. So they were trying to up their car count by putting it the week after Knoxville, so these PA Ohio guys or California guys can stay over an extra week and race for really good money, because Jackson Nationals pays badass pay. And then they fucking put a race in Indiana on the way back to PA.
Yeah.
The Tuesday after Knoxville. Like, that's fucked up. What they're doing next year, great, grand, but I don't know. I think that's the wrong... Like, if you were going to pick a horse to race against the Outlaws with at any point, like, you would probably want that horse of Todd Queering on your side.
Right.
Absolutely.
100%.
You would not want to piss in his fucking Cheerios to start your opener. Like, it's not even a series. It's just a one-off, well, we're here.
Yeah.
Pick it the fucking next week or something.
Yeah.
Go up against River Cities.
Yeah, like
Go up against the
IRA,
West Coast.
right.
Right.
Because after River Cities, the Outlaws go to fucking Skagit.
Right.
Do it then.
Right.
What the fuck are you doing? The dumbass.
Yeah,
I didn't
we've
even know about it
actually-
until I watched
Dumbass
your
move.
video.
So we've argued a little bit over how competition within, even locally, like, is kind of ruining motorsports. As like they're not working. That's not. I don't want to use the word ruin, but it's not helping grow. Like, is that like you need the competition at one point, but is like
You talking
that-
competing series, right?
well, yeah, it's
No,
like
he's talking about local tracks competing
that.
against others.
Well, that sprint
Like
car
that
race, the sprint car
$5,000
race.
Well, you're more. I think you're kind of more leaning towards why would there be a $5,000 B mod show like you were saying, and another guy have a B mod show.
Yeah.
well, that too. but
That's
it's
more
like, that's
what
not
you're
helping.
kind of saying. Is more it's like you're saying more like local regional examples.
I'm
That would
kinda-
be a great example that last week. Or
I'm almost using everything because like the sprint car race that's going against Jackson. That it's like why?
Oh, you're talking
that-
about when they split the wing and the wingless on that UMSS LS still.
Yeah. Wings and
Well, that's
or
just
wings
stupid.
at Cedar. And
That's
Yeah,
just
that's
arrogant.
dumb too.
That's just arrogance.
all right, I want to move on. We're an hour into this.
We just moved on to US.
I
I
understand.
actually do
that.
want to talk about UMSS.
That's fine. Go ahead, give her.
I just
I'll
want-
wait until we're done.
I
since
want to
you-
talk about UMSS.
So I'm
Whoever's
fine.
running
That's
that is
fine.
whoever did that decision is inconsiderate to the people he's supposed to lead. When
Yeah.
you're a fucking series director, you run something, you're supposed to lead fucking warriors into battle. And you're the fucking guy hosting the fucking show. You're
now you
supposed to
just-
like lead people. How do you fucking lead people saying you go over there, we'll race same day? It's not leadership. That's I don't know. Did Todd give him a tip or something to do it? I don't fucking know.
How
But
many
even
cars
it-
were at Jackson
last year.
this year, or whatever?
We didn't last year when we went down to Jackson. We had 20, but then a lot. So like the UMSS, you have guys that do both. Like they'll take a wing off, and now you're gonna have 5 guys that are gonna stay at Cedar to race wings because diesel's $5.
Well, you should cancel fucking Cedar and move that
Absolutely.
winged race to the next week.
Absolutely.
There's what a leader does.
Yeah.
Who's doing this? Who's doing it?
I ain't
Why
saying
is
names.
it that simple? It's that simple.
It is.
Yeah.
There's no reason for wings to race.
And say
We're the support class for the Jackson Nationals, and we're gonna have 12
And
cars.
here's a big deal. A lot of people, a lot of racers and leaders are missing out on social media. Like there's a lot of power there. Like the reason a lot of people won't knock my ass out at a track, even though they won't, is because they know if they do, that it's going to be on Facebook or YouTube the next day, and they're going to be a big fucking asshole. Like seriously, like they're gonna have a bunch of people ready to whoop their fucking ass because they touched me.
Yeah.
But that's the power of it. I ain't got fucking jack shit. I'm here drinking fucking $2 beer out of the freezer at fucking, I ain't got Quick Star or whatever. Your little. Fucking,
It's Quick Trip.
It's quick trip.
all right. Quick rewards these nuts. But here's what I'm saying. That's what.
Yes.
That's what she said. Yeah. But what I'm saying is like say in this plan where you move the say this plan where you're supposed to move the wings to the next week is blocked because Cedar Lake or somebody says no. All right. Fuck you, Cedar Lake. All right. I put a post up tomorrow. Cedar Lake, hey wing guys, transparency is what's needed. Hey guys, Cedar Lake is not up for us to have in our show the week after. It's either this week or no week. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
That's very open. That's not blaming anyone. Look, we're trying. The leader's saying, hey, we tried.
Yeah.
Here's the situation. Do y'all want to race it or do you want to cancel it or what? And you let the racers decide. You let the warriors speak to you.
Well, yeah, 'cause-
Leaders fucking fail when you're the World of Outlaws and you don't listen to anyone and you just speak to them and tell them what to do.
Yeah.
That's where you fuck up as leaders. You have to listen to what your warriors are fucking saying to you. And when you ignore your warriors, you know what they do? They go fight for someone else.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
Right.
It's world
God
history.
dang.
Bandit sprint cars or boss,
I feel
hey, we
better.
can bring them up here. We can bring the boss series up here.
Basically, Chaz, what you've done so far in this podcast you have summed up about 7 or 8 different bullshit sessions that we've had talking
Into
about
one.
into one. Like you took all of the word paintings that we have made over the last 4 or 5 months and you made a beautiful masterpiece in about 20 minutes.
And we ain't even talked about, Epstein or anything yet.
Right.
Because that's, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know why NASCAR and these big organizations want parents to mortgage their house for a go-kart or whatever
Right.
and get into this vulnerable position, and these big rich old people want a 14-year-old begging for their fucking opportunity in NASCAR
Right.
and their parents with no money left. Why you want that situation?
Why can't we race into anything anymore?
Why? Yeah, why you want little boys and girls begging to be in your ride, sir?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
What's
perfect
your
sense.
deal, bro?
When we went to North Carolina, that's all I did is when we walked in the shop, I'm like, so how much is it to race that for a day? Oh, 60,000. Well, what about the truck? Oh, it's 120. I'm like, for one day? Well, practice too.
Right.
I'm like, 120,000.
Hey, man, Tanner Thorson, Kevin Thomas Jr., bunch of guys will tell you the same. Hell, you should hear the story about Tim McCready's. Tim McCready, well, I don't want to speak for him, but I ain't going to name names. Tim McCready wins Chili Bowl. He's told me this story. I'm going to not name names. Tim McCready wins the Chili Bowl. Apparently, the next day, an agent who, I should name his name, but fuck him. Anyway, Allah.
Allah?
Agent. Yeah, for them.
Allah?
Wow,
For
okay.
them, not for me. That's a smart ass remark.
Yeah, I get you.
For them, not me. But
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? For
I'm
them, not
slow.
me.
Yeah,
I'm just saying for their cause, not mine. Contacts him and wants to sign him to get him into NASCAR. This is before the RCR stuff with him and all that stuff.
I haven't
And
followed.
Tim McCready won the Chili Bowl. I don't know if you knew that.
I knew that.
You knew that.
Yep.
So apparently next day or the days leading after, this agent contacts him from NASCAR land, who is very prominent in the dirt world. This is why I'm not naming him, because I don't have the money to get
Understood.
sued yet. I feel like
Understood.
I feel like if I got sued, there'd be some help. It'd be more popular than Johnny Depp's. But here's the deal.
I don't know.
Hey! If you see Facebook Live in a local civil trial, you would sue me, bitches. Watch what happens. Anyway, but this agent contacts him and says, "Hey, I want to try to shop you into NASCAR." Apparently, this is what happens to all these little kids and stuff. So this agent approaches him, sends him a contract. Oh, it sounds great. Let's do it. And he goes to read the contract, and it shows in there he has to give 25% of all of his earnings to be represented by this guy.
Oh, wow.
And he's like,
that's
"Oh."
just a one guy.
One guy. And I'll tell you off camera. And he says, I'm making, $200,000, $300,000 a year racing this late model. At that time, it's not like it is now. It was a little lower. He's like, I'm not about to give you fucking $75,000 to maybe get me into a cup car.
Right.
I did see that. That wasn't on an interview somewhere, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was.
I swear I've heard that before.
I've heard that before too. I have.
He said he did, yeah.
He may
100% true.
He was
Yeah.
willing to, but that just tells
I maybe
you.
even heard that from him.
He said it somewhere.
I think I heard. I personally think
I
heard
personally
it from,
heard it from him. I just don't want to name names.
I'm
on who
actually.
it was.
I did hear that. From
Allah,
him.
yes, Allah.
I did hear.
Okay.
That. All right.
Perfect time. 100, hour and 7 minutes in.
Yep.
Y'all don't do podcasts for an hour?
Oh, we can go as long as we
for
want.
4 hours.
But I'm just saying, we should probably go to the beginning where we would ask you, so Chaz, tell all the listeners your background, how you got into this whole deal.
Okay.
And I honestly want to know, this is probably more personally for me, but it doesn't seem to matter what we ask you, you have an answer. And it's a good answer on everything. But even your videos that I've been watching over the, I've seen you obviously out there doing this, doing that, going here, going there. But it doesn't seem to matter where you go. You know someone or can interview someone, blah, blah, blah. So I want to know how you got into it, for one. Tell listeners why you do it.
Okay.
And then also, how did you learn to speak the way you do, in a sense, and how you do it?
So I was a fan like anyone else. And I got into actually sim racing. I mean, I was fan and everything. I mean, everybody wants to race as they're a kid. When I was younger, everybody wanted to race. And then R Factor came along and started racing R Factor a little bit. That's where I met Kyle Larson, met Chase Briscoe, I was kicking their ass. Even Chase Briscoe called me the Steve Kinzer of online racing. It was pretty funny. But an opportunity came up with the local racetrack, Devil's Bowl in Mesquite, to be an announcer. So my sister told me about it. I sent in, and it was available. And I sent them some stuff because I would race and announce some of the online stuff. So I sent them a clip. So I started becoming an announcer there, and then I noticed, and actually through sim racing, you get to paint your cars, you get to do all this stuff, so you learn Photoshop, you learn video editing. I was doing like little promos for stuff. So I was like, hey, I can do all this other stuff that y'all are missing. Y'all ain't got no Facebook ads, y'all ain't got nothing like that. So I started doing that more and more. I got a little more power as far as like running stuff, Facebooks and getting sponsorships and all that. And I was relatively doing that, I guess, successful. Started taking over the website, running the websites, doing like little radio segments, all that. And
to promote, in a sense, be an announcer.
To promote, yeah. So it was kind of like, I almost felt like I was promoter because nothing was getting out or being created, really, if I didn't like either suggest it or come up with it or just did it on my own and put it out there.
Yep.
And eventually it became so repetitive. And if there was a bad weekend at the racetrack, I felt like I was getting blamed. Like, because it was a very family-owned, the Edwards family who runs Chili Bow and all that, or half of the Chili Bow. It felt like if I did something wrong, or if a race went wrong, it wasn't the daughter, the son, whatever. It was me that did something wrong. That's why I wasn't successful. So I kind of got tired of that a little bit. I went to work for a roofing company that had saw I was doing. And I started making decent money at the roofing company, and I was still announcing at the track and updating the websites, but I wasn't doing that whole week, every day promotional deal. I was just kind of like announcer and then post Facebook stuff and make a little graphic. So right after I left the track, Lanny Edwards didn't show up the next day or the next week. He was the first time he had never showed up to the track. And apparently he had got sick. And then like a month later after I'd left, he died. So after that happened, I was still working at the roofing company, but I'd started hearing how, we really need you back, like other people who are in the management areas. We really need you to come back. We need you to help out. All this stuff you used to do, you're not doing anymore. It made a difference. We need you to come back. So we kind of halfway kind of agreed to something, didn't agree to something, and it was Chili Bow coming up, and I was going to Chili Bow every year. It was kind of on the house for being an employee with Devil's Bow, and I was doing stuff with Lawton, which was the other racetrack. We acquired another track, RPM Speedway. I was doing stuff with that track, too.
Like
so I was kind of... Which one?
RPM.
RPM in Crandall? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, it's a really good quarter mile. I just don't have no big shows. But it is a really good track. So I literally quit the roofing company and drove to the Chili Bow with halfway no kind of deal. Like, I just got a new car and everything working there, but I knew that if I was going to do the dirt track route and really, like, take over and run, like, I had to put full-time hours into it. So I went up to Chili Bow, quit the roofing company. We figured out a little deal where I was going to make a little bit more doing sponsorship stuff to make a livable wage and try to get close to what I was doing. So I went through Chili Bow, great week, all that. And then I put like a sponsorship packet together and everything that you could want to know, everything's prices, big pictures of the parking area at Devil's Bow when Outlaws are there. Here's all the people, here's everything. And I went and drove like probably 2,000 miles in the DFW area. Went to every damn business there was. And everywhere I went was just like, racetrack? What are you talking about? Really? Huh? And then NASCAR, I went to a car dealership and the guy had a NASCAR jacket on and he was like, oh, that's where Tony Stewart's from, right? And I was like, yeah, but there's probably guys just as good as Stewart down there, There's guys in 305s. There's probably a driver at your local track that could wax any NASCAR driver that you put on, even Kyle Larson. If you put Kyle Larson in a UMSS car, some of your local guys could maybe give him a fucking run for his money.
Oh, yeah.
And he's saying Tony Stewart, which Tony Stewart's not Kyle Larson talent, in my opinion. And it just started, I got kind of like a ass wax on how irrelevant this fucking sport actually is to the world around us. We are fucking nothing. This sport is nobody.
Yeah.
And half the biggest problem is some of these people become a somebody in this little bubble called dirt racing and think that they're somebody when they're fucking nobody. You're nobody.
It's hard. That's a hard mentality to have, especially when dirt track racing in the United States alone is an $11 billion a year industry. And it's
Over how many tracks, though? It's like...
Well, it doesn't matter. 1 out of 5 people in the country will go to a dirt track race once a summer. Where you're talking about, Chaz.
No, I mean, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars have like 400,000 likes on Facebook. And there's like there's 340 million people in the country.
Half people barely know what NASCAR is anymore.
48 million people a year, on average, will go to their local dirt track once.
Okay.
So, what you're talking about, I agree with. This is the biggest sport nobody knows about.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, nobody knows about
Well,
it.
and that's the deal with the guy at the car dealership. They may have heard about it, but it's where fucking little kids learn how to drive. And this is when I first started switching. My favorite driver used to be Jeff Gordon. Me and Kyle Larson used to be buddies. And then I saw this. I started hearing this. I'm like, at that point, I was like 200 pounds. I've lost 200 pounds. Used to be 450 pounds. And I was like, well, if I can figure out, because when you go to lose weight, you go look at all the food and where it's coming from and how that business works. It's really like, no one gives a fuck about you, buddy. They don't give a fuck about people, and they really don't give a fuck about the animals. But I was like, okay, well, if I can figure that out, I got to figure out why all these people think like this. Because you go read like old stories and shit, and it's like, local racing never used to be grassroots. It used to be like local professional auto racing. It was like professional was local.
Harry raced for a living.
Like you were a fucking professional. You were making $2,000 at a local race when a brand new fucking GMC was $6,500.
Correct. Yeah.
You know.
Well, we raced with a guy who used to race for a living.
Well,
There's a guy parked outside my house right now that does that. Did that. He'd look at payout, and his goal was we needed to make $1,000 a week, and that's what kept us going down the road.
Right, and paying your fucking bills, and then you get a sponsor for $1,000, and you just fucking
won the lottery.
hit the lottery. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to figure out. I was like, all right, I got to go. And the way you lose weight, you go back. How I did it was I go back. Why did I eat this? Why did I eat that? Why did I drink that? And you start picking up on like advertisements and medias and all that. And I was already in the media world, so I was seeing how media manipulated people. Down there in Texas, everybody wanted to be a non-wing sprint car driver. All of a sudden, we were trying to figure out why. Oh, it's these loud pedal videos that made everybody want to be a non-wing sprint car racer.
Yeah.
Oh, it's media. This is how you fucking wax people's ass. Yeah, raise your hand, bitch. No, I'm just playing. But so I was like, all right, what did media do? And that's when I started studying. Up until the 90s, man, this sprint car thing was fucking huge. What happened?
Right.
And then you start seeing code. When did everybody? I said it in a video. I made a video. It was pretty outlandish. I was like, stop. I just randomly said, stop cheering on Cole, please. It's like, what happened to the Sammies? I was trying to say that shit in a video while I was in this position because I just went out and got fucking, mind fucked on the truth. And then I started researching and figuring out when this whole shift of what's professional, what's grassroots, which grassroots never existed. That's why I say grassroots is the N-word for the racing world. It's your lower form label. You're just a grassroots racer. You're not a world class. You're not a professional. You're a grassroots little redneck down there. Just stay in your fucking spot, little bitch. That's how they should be taking it. That's how they should be taking it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's your lower form label that this system has made you cheer because they give you a 30-second post on their Facebook, on NASCAR.com or whatever. But regardless, and I was saying that, and then somebody said, hey, that's the fucking truth. And so then I started looking into the business aspects, and it all made fucking sense to me. Hendrick funded the movie. Hendrick is what brought Jeff Gordon in, Felix Sabates, and a bunch of other stuff. I mean, it was very methodical, and even CART. CART was a big part of it. You got to think about it. Like, CART was so big in the early 90s. Like, IndyCar used to dominate NASCAR. NASCAR was a bitch. Let's not be... Until about 97, NASCAR was a fucking bitch to IndyCar. Right. And we were about where NASCAR was, if not equal, if not more. So I look at it like NASCAR figured out how to use media, Hollywood, a movie, Tom Cruise action star, to take the dirt fans... to take on Indy. And then at the same time, you had a guy named, I don't know if you know this, Nigel Mansell, not pointing at you because you seems like you know Indy a little bit.
Very little.
Very, very little. Okay, great. There's a guy named Nigel Mansell who was a Formula One champion in 92, I believe. He left Formula One for kart racing in America. Because kart racing, because it was in America, an entertainment industry, it was becoming bigger than Formula One globally. And if we want to talk about powerhouses, you don't fuck with Ferrari. You don't
Or
fuck
Porsche.
with. You want to talk about mafias? You don't fuck with Italianos.
Right.
I don't give a fuck, Ford. Kiss my ass. That's a movie. Leave that up for another movie. But so they took Nigel Mansell, and then even Jacques Villeneuve talks about this, how an IndyCar and Indianapolis in particular and NASCAR have worked together for years. And I just started looking at all the business aspects on how NASCAR used Hollywood to take a bunch of fans, and then they created it was like a movie came to life with Jeff Gordon versus Earnhardt with Cole versus Rowdy. Like this was pre-predicted. That movie was 90. This shit started happening in 95.
Yeah.
And if you look at the businesses that made that movie happen, they coincide.
Well, what you just said.
Along with Honda and the quarter midget scene, I believe. Don't they run the Honda?
Yeah. They did.
Hendrick and Honda and Joe Gibbs.
Yeah.
Yep.
They both have Honda dealers.
Exactly. They own that industry.
Yeah.
And that quarter midget scene jumped off because of Jeff Gordon. Yeah. So I started looking at the business medium conglomerate.
Well, when you said that, the movie came in, blah, 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 kept talking, that goes all the way back to the beginning of this podcast with painting the whole picture and how it just keeps working out all the way through.
And Bernie Ecclestone and them
42.
Right, and them starting the IRL, the Indy Racing League, split the IndyCar scene in America, and the fucking IndyCar fans were just distraught.
Oh,
and
here came Indy 500 was a shit show.
Right,
it almost died.
Yeah, it almost died, and that was in the same era of when here comes Cole versus Rowdy, Jeff versus fucking Dale Sr., and Rusty Wallace and all these fucking Penske's and everybody. And it just took over. And it just took name the list. Yeah. All of them, all the names that are still relevant today that apparently were so big we can't change the fucking numbers of the cup cars anymore. You used to make a fucking number. Now they're just living on sequels of the fucking movie era.
That's true.
The 24, the 2, the fucking 6. They're just living on it. So I started seeing this and talking too loud. I just got too loud, and then I had a lot of weird shit happen. I had side pains from losing the weight, and I went to the doctor, and they said that I had the skin that I had lost was pulling on my side muscles, and they gave me some pain medicines, and then I took these pain medicines and took it to the next level, started saying some crazy shit, and then I lost my job at the track. I started getting way too loud, and then pretty much left with nothing. I ended up getting in my car and I had done a music video prior to all that shit happening with the racing world, and I was like, fuck it, I could try music for a month, because I'd lost everything in racing when that whole shit went down, when I started just saying crazy shit on camera. And then I went to Hollywood. I actually did music in Hollywood for a month and a half, staying out of my car. Kind of like training camp for what I do today. And then I did it in Las Vegas. And in Vegas, I was used to singing in Hollywood, but then when I got to Vegas, it was so dry and hot that I lost my voice, and I was down to $5. I was doing busking is what they call it, where you play on the streets for money and shit. And so when I couldn't play it, I had $5 left, and I just said, fuck it, I'll go into a casino. And then I went from $5 to $2,000. I won at one slot for 180, then I won at another slot for 900. And then I played blackjack the rest of the night. Came back to Texas, helped with the Hurricane Harvey victims, got a job back in Dallas, kind of working back up, and got it back with the same roofing company. And then I was just fuck this music deal. I was still doing it. I was still playing. People liked my music. But I was just I don't really love fucking music. I love racing. So I just got a fucking camera out and fucking made a video about talking about real racers and shit. And it just, my first video ever got 90,000 views on Facebook. And then I was like, well, this could fucking work. And then I just started making more. And then it just took off. And then I started making documentaries, and then I was like, fuck it, I need to be on the road. And so I just left on the road in 2019, 2018. Been on the road for fucking ever since then. And that's where we are today, just by not being scared. I've been in a position where everything you could have is gone. When that happened, when I lost everything, lost the track, all that shit. And it's once you get there, ain't much gonna.
Once you get to that point of ultimate desperation. Right.
Well, desperation and just having everyone who you thought would have your back not there. You know
that I've been there,
and there's people who were, but it's like I can't count them on one hand.
I've been in those shoes before where I've lost everything. I lost my apartment, I lost my car, I lost my job, I lost everything. So tail between my legs, I'm couch diving, and then a buddy of mine picked me up and took me back to my hometown, and basically just started over. You know.
I want to hear about that, but I'm couch diving another piss right now. This beer's coming in and out. I hate to say it. This is so good.
All right, we'll go right back to that.
You can be so mad at me. He's over there like, what happened? Why do you look so depressed?
Is there any questions in the live before
we've answered them all?
Okay.
What I did want to say is like when I said like I wanted to elaborate when I got like the hurt and the pain pills and all that. I mean, some of that shit. So basically, in the time span where I went to the hospital and like I thought I was gonna die, there was so much pain, like, and I could take some pretty bad fucking pains, but I like looked up pains and it was like kidney failures, all this stuff. So on the way to that doctor, like I thought it was like over. Like my family has a history of like dying early. Dad was 48, mom was 54. You know, so I was like, here's my time. You know, that's kind of how we halfway think. You know, we're all, us guys, we're very like, ignore this pain, ignore that pain. When it's time for me to go, fuck, I'm going to feel it and I'm going to go. You know, that's our mentality as guys. We're like, fuck this. We're going to live today. And then it felt like that time to go pain. Like I'd been fat my whole life, like 400 pounds. It's like, who knows what kind of health issues could come from that, you know? So when that happened, it kind of correlated. So I made that video about the whole Rowdy versus Cole deal, or stop cheering on Cole, please. And I was in pain when I made that video. And then I went to the hospital like the next day. And I go into deep on this. Long Live the Chaz. If you go there, it's my story or whatever. You can click it and watch it all. I'll do like a video, a life. I do way more than this. But after that happened, I started looking into this Cole thing. Started looking into the business of the movies, the business of the corporations, all this stuff, the movers.
And what do you mean by coal or code? Are you saying coal or
coal? Sorry, Cole.
So what do you mean
coal,
by
trickle.
coal? Okay,
trickles. Like
just
the
making
movies,
sure everybody knows.
Sorry about that. Like looking into the movie, looking into who funded it, what happened, who was behind it, and I started making all these connections. And then when you start making these connections and you start looking at some of the players involved, I'll call them, like there's some fucking cryptic shit going on in there. There's some, that's just one of the players, you know, how I look, you know, like we're saying, or I was saying earlier, like money and then life or death. But then what's more important than money to a lot of people is what you believe, you know, what you believe is kind of what runs your life. Kind of is what makes your decisions for you. It's what you believe is right or wrong or this and that. Like I always say, because people like to bitch, oh, you're wrong on that. It's like right and wrong is a matter of perspective.
Yeah,
like 9/11.
Right. A lot of it's subjective.
Right, like 9/11. If you're an American, that was wrong. But if you're an extreme Muslim, fuck yeah, good job, buddy. You got him.
Yeah,
you got the. I'm just saying, but that's
wrong.
the truth.
You're not wrong.
It's not too early.
You know,
so, yeah.
Let's go back to this gambling deal. So you had $5 in your pocket, sitting in Vegas.
Okay,
no voice.
So my fucking voice was gone, and I went there. So there was two reasons why I went there from Hollywood, and I got all this shit documented, pictured, all that. The one reason was because I got robbed at knife point.
Perfect.
And lost pretty much everything. I came back from that, and I got robbed again. It wasn't all my money, but it was some. And then in Vegas that weekend was Floyd Mayweather versus Conor motherfucking Gregor.
Oh, gosh.
And I wasn't disconnected from the world. I knew this was a big fucking deal. So I went to Vegas the weekend of the Floyd versus Conor fight. And it's kind of funny. I was getting myself into places I probably shouldn't have been, like as far as like upper echelon places. Like when I was in Hollywood, I went to Beverly Hills. I went to Malibu. I hung out with a bunch of, you know, people that I shouldn't, like Logan Paul. You know, I mean, I was around these guys at points. You know, it wasn't like for a week, but it was like I've been around them. And so when I got to Vegas, I went over there with my guitar on my back, and I was just watching the red carpet walk. And before I know it, I'm on the red carpet. And like I walked in there next to Jamie Foxx, and it's like I was just there.
Right.
But then they kicked me out, of course. But
You were still there.
Who are you? I was just playing it off as I'm.
I would have been
somebody.
like, I'm the Chaz, motherfucker.
Well, at that point, there was no Chaz. You know, there was just this fucking guy who had lost all of his shit. You know, and I went into a casino when I lost my voice. I couldn't sing. I woke up and my voice was gone. I only had like $5, $6 left. I put it in the slot machine, and I don't know. I was trying to I was going to dive into that when I was talking about what you believe, because when that was first happening, after all that shit that happened, I started looking into a bunch of fucking belief systems. Like I started looking into, okay, well, these people funded this, these people funded that. Tom Cruise played the part. All right, what's Scientology? All right, well, what is Catholicism? What is this? What is the Talmud? What is the Torah? You know, what is all these things that these people who own everything believe? So I started looking at a bunch of different belief systems, and a lot of cryptic shit happened to me, I felt like. And I started talking about that, and that's what led on to, you know, I started talking about different religions and different things and different ways of life, and that's what led to me getting fucking capped off the racing shit, because it got too politicized, whatever, you know, crazy shit. Hell, I'll probably even call myself Jesus at one point. But here's what I'm saying. I was just really into belief systems. So I was very into like things just happening. And when I walked into the casino, I just kept walking. And it was at that point, I didn't know where I was going to play the money, but I only had $5 left. You know, I was kind of very serious about what I was listening to or doing. And there's a movie out there, when I watched it, I was like, holy shit, that is kind of how I feel right now. It's with Denzel Washington, and he's like, it's like a God versus demon movie. And it's like these people would talk to him when it's just like random people would speak. It was like a spirit was speaking to him through people.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard or seen this movie, but it's a Denzel Washington movie. It's kind of old. But it was like, that's kind of how the feeling I was. And like, I was just listening like random thoughts to random people that was making, you know, gestures. And then something was just like whispering to me to go to this seat right here. And then I went there, and like fucking third pull, it was like 180. And then I went and put 160 in my car. And then I took the 20, and I was like, well, fuck, now I can finally enjoy Vegas for fucking once. So I started walking down. I went into the Bellagio and kind of did the same thing, waited, listened in a way to these entities, I guess you would call it.
Yep.
I wasn't fucked up on crack or cocaine or anything. I was just like, I'd experienced a lot, you know. So when you're in those vulnerable positions, a lot of people, I think, fake it when they say they pray to God. I never really like prayed to God, but I did start paying attention to more than what I was like the daily rat race life. You know, I was paying attention to like what is running everything, what is actually happening, what controls this life. You know, I started really looking at our lives as specks of salt and pepper. But when that shit happened to me, it was like, okay, well, maybe we matter a little bit more. I don't want to get too mythology on this, but there's a lot of shit going on, and it's based on these fuckers.
I think it's all thoughts that somebody's thought.
It's based on the people who run this fucking world that we call world, this life that we call life. You know, these fuckers believe this shit too. They really, really do. The people who own the money, who own the world. So I got to listen to what they're believing in, because obviously they got the shit halfway right. They're running our lives. So, and I landed on another slot machine and won like $900 at the Bellagio, and then put the money away, and then put some money away, went into the Stratocaster. I started just going to all these different casinos, you know, because I just got to Vegas first time in my life. I've never been there before, but I've been, you know, trying to sing my ass off to afford something to eat, you know. And I was good. I wasn't bad. I mean, people liked me and all that, but I went to Stratocaster, won a couple hundred more, and then that's when Hurricane Harvey had happened, and I was in a more, I'm still in a giving way, a giving person. Like, I would consider coming up here to UMSS instead of going to fucking Fairbury or New York is that same mentality of giving back to people who are less fortunate or had something. That's what I see as these 305 regular sprint car guys is the less fortunate in life. They just
This opportunity right here.
right. So I mean, same thing. So I went to Hurricane Harvey. I hooked up with some people who had still been contacting me, watching me from the racing world. We went down there and helped them out, and then that's what I said. It led to was singing in Dallas, doing regular work at a roofing company, and then I made that fucking video. I said, "Fuck race or fuck music. I'll just start saying what I thought on racing." And then that's you were asking about Vegas. So
the emotional mindset that you were in when you looked in your wallet or whatever, and you $5. Like I said, I've been there before.
right.
It is a very precarious spot that I know that I can look back on just little different moments in my life that got me to that spot. And I didn't realize when I was in those moments that that's what brought, those decisions that I made were minuscule at the time, but it took me right to where I was at.
But they're for reasons. That's what people miss out.
Exactly.
They're for fucking reasons. Like,
And
people don't understand the lessons they're being taught daily.
So you had $5 and and decided to gamble with it because forces around you were
It took my only livelihood of making any money that day was to sing.
right.
I didn't have no job to go to.
So then that happened. You got the financial shot in the arm that you needed.
Right.
To-
So I spent the money to go back to Texas to help the people out in Hurricane Harvey.
And it wasn't even like you said, $2,000.
It was around 1,800.
That's nothing. And you, comparatively speaking, you took that money, and as opposed to putting down rent or a security deposit on a place or whatever,
Right.
you said, nope, fuck that noise. I'm going to Texas. I'm gonna go help my fellow man, so to speak.
When you lose your rat race life, which is, I'm not trying to disrespect people out there who work 9 to 5, but unfortunately, the people I'm talking about that
is rat
believe a
race.
certain way, this is their fucking race that you play every day. This is what feeds them fucking assholes. That's really what it is. Unfortunately,
It's true.
You feed the fucking cow that is, America or the world. It's not even America, it's the world. World fucking banking system. That's why they hate crypto so much, because they don't have it. But I got to that $5 point because I hated fucking money bad. Because when I went through all that and learned how everything worked, I started learning how this fucking dollar right here is the cause of every fucking thing that's wrong.
Sure.
A woman don't love a man because of $1. She makes a choice because of $1. A man picks $1 because of $1. People idolize Kyle Larson's because they got more money. They like this person because they got more money. They make this decision in life because the money's going to make the difference. I hated that fucking dollar bill because I saw it as the whip. I saw it as us being all slaves. The reason you whipped a man historically is to get him to do what he don't want to do. And the way you do that today is you just fucking pay him. A man will do what he don't want to do every fucking day for that whip.
You're not wrong.
That's what
though.
it fucking, and it
Yeah,
started
you're
making
not
me
wrong.
hate that motherfucker. I was like, the fucking kings, the pyramid fucking, I was saying Pharaoh back then. I was like, there's still a fucking Pharaoh around, you dumb fucking pieces of shit. You're getting whipped by him. It just has a fucking dollar on
Well,
it.
even look at 100 years ago with monopolies and Carnegie, Steel, all of the same fucking concept.
That's why I started hating the dollar so much. I saw this fucking thing as a whip, and we are
Yeah.
the slaves. And it does the same thing that the fucking whip did.
So
It
how
did
did
the
you-
same thing. And so on the way to California, anybody who asked me for, I had a decent amount of money, but anyone who asked me for $1 at a gas station, anything, I gave it to him. I gave him so much fucking money that by the time I got to Arizona, I was out of fucking money. I started helping people on the side of the road and asking for some gas money. Because I had given my money away to so many people on the way before I got there. I helped a guy fucking fix his hose that had broke on his radiator. I helped a dude who was stranded because he ran out of gas. All these little random things.
So you have taken your mindset with money.
Right,
which-
and that's why they can't. That's why they don't like me in the racing world, because they can't buy me.
which money at its core, objectively
It's a
speaking,
control object.
it's a tool, and it's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a tool.
Right.
It means to
I mean,
go
I've
get-
matured a bit because there ain't nothing to do about it. It's just like the $70,000 motor.
Right. But you're right so much so that like I can. As soon as you said that, I went, "Holy crap! I'm doing that in my job right now."
Right, you're
100%.
living a fucking life you don't want to live. And so when I got to that point, and as you're saying, you won 700 instead of getting a house, you went into because I started living a fucking life. Because really, you're exchanging your life for fucking money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You're exchanging your life for fucking money. Now, there are things you can do with your life to make money and have all of it and all that and fucking utopia shit, all that. Yeah, we're going to live forever. Fuck it. AI. Let's go. Elon Musk.
Neuralink.
Yeah, let's just fucking sit here. Yeah, Neuralink's going to kill every fucking thing we know, as far as I'm concerned. If I don't know how to drive a race car better than Kyle Larson, just Neuralink me how to do it. You know, I mean, but anyway.
Some real Matrix type stuff there.
It really is. It really is.
It's
But that's what got to me is I had already experienced so many extreme examples, and then going to the point of actually researching it, and then almost self-identifying who's at fault. Almost, because I would still say that, like when I say Pharaoh or something, somebody who's running all of us, whipping us right now with this money, like they are doing. They're making people go and do what they don't want to do every day. They don't have to whip you anymore. It's a mental whip. It's with $1. But I still think that there's people on top of, I would say, Rothschilds or people like that who are relatively known. But that's why when I got that $1,700, I went and helped somebody or live life. Fuck it. You know, I ain't going to take my money and just go sit in a house all day. Go find another job to go and continuously trade my life for money.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to live it. So, and that's why I took that money and went to the Hurricane Harvey deal, as you text, just like a woman. Honestly, the greatest tool besides money for these fuckers up on top is the woman. Because the woman is what motivates the man to go do all these things. It's all about us satisfying them. They use the most predatorial, not even predatorial, the most genetic. It is halfway predatorial, because if you look in human history, guys, we're just like going around slapping bitches and doing whatever they want with them. That's pretty sad. But our emotional love honestly trumps money too.
Yeah.
And it's for the women. It always has been from the fucking day one, you can believe. You know, so they use that influence, and then they trick the women with the patriarchy and all that. Men run the world. No, rich men run the world. Us poor men are getting fucked by them. You know, we're getting screwed by these rich fucking assholes. You know, but they use the woman to influence you to continue the slavery. And not saying women are to blame. These fuckers on the top are influencing all this. But, I mean, there's way more to it. Money is the goal. Money is the whip. But there's influences for you to continuously get whipped as well. And there's a bunch of things. A race car is almost to that point. It really almost is.
Yeah.
What will trump a woman more than that? It would be a race car or drugs or whatever it could be. Football, whatever.
It's anything you want it to be.
It's whatever you want it to be. What? And honestly, it is whatever matters more than the woman, because the woman is the first thing that will trump the money. So whatever matters more to you than the woman, whatever addiction they can get you on besides the woman is the next thing that they're going to use to dangle the hook for the fish, the dough for the buck, you know, whatever that is. Sorry, I'm getting into too many ideologies. But I can go deep down and around some roads if you want to go down the story of the Chaz. I mean,
is they then like subjective? Like,
what do you mean they? When I say
like
they?
when you say they, is it like, I guess you call it the people that screw people over?
Boy, when you go try to find out who they is.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you. That's why I'm asking you, because let
me tell you something.
I've thought about this exact same stuff. So I'm fascinated by this conversation.
Well, hey, let's keep on rolling. Don't shut this shit down. It ain't too late. Hey, your wife out there. Sorry, I wasn't being mean to her. She's not your lure, I promise. She seems very nice. I started this day journey when I started looking into, who's Cole? Remember I said that before I got kicked out of these fuckers, you know, or before I started saying too much or getting too crazy or whatever. Getting too loud, talking too much. I started down this pursuit of almost who the fuck is they?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, because I've thought about.
I will tell you right now, bro, they is a very, very deep tunnel. It's a very,
that's why I'm
very
asking.
deep tunnel, man.
Well, they
Honestly,
obviously
honestly,
don't.
I've thought about the
honestly,
same
at the
thing.
end of the day, the truth could be they is standing in the room right now. You just can't see him.
Well, I've thought the
It
same-
could be alien. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be when you talk about
What?
they.
So I
say this all the time. You put a lion in a cage, right? Because we're the top of the line being, right? We're the top of the line being. But does a lion really know we're there most of the time?
Right.
It doesn't even know we're there. So if there's something above us, it's not going to be because it's stronger. It's going to be because what happened?
I'm hot.
Well, I don't know. That shirt don't look that great on you, but what I'm saying though is like if something is above us, we sound like lions talking about humans.
Right.
And whatever they is going to be smarter than us because we are examples on how the top of the food chain in this world that we know of is based on thought because we ain't stronger than a fucking lion.
Well, I've just
So it'd be something smarter. They, I think, are higher echelon humans. But when you want to talk about who they are, I mean, at the end of the day, you can
That's a whole new podcast series.
well, no, I
right
just
there.
that's a whole. It's and you'll never know,
right.
and
Well,
you'll
I've-
never know.
That's why it's such a deep hole. too.
Well, no,
Right.
I've taken, basic levels of sociology, psychology, and you start thinking
Oh,
about why people do this and why people do that. And you study why. It's a roll of mindfuck.
There's some
like
stuff
a
I'll say.
complete
Some
mindfuck.
Yeah.
It is fascinating, but you drag yourself in these weird thoughts that you're like, what is life? You know what I mean? Sort of things.
Well,
No, I'm serious.
And
though.
I'll say something.
Yeah,
No, I know.
When I'll go on a
dude, when you
1000%
think about
true.
psychology has totally changed the way I've thought about stuff.
And
you're
that's
like,
what I'm
why does that
talking about,
person
by
do
the
that?
way.
Why does this person do this? And you start thinking about why, and you're like, well, then you start questioning yourself why I'm doing what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Yep.
And you're like,
It's a very
Okay, what am-
existential spot to be in, to put yourself in. And it can be a dangerous
the
rabbit.
education system put me in it, for God's sakes.
No,
Yeah,
that's not the
dangerous rabbit-
education system. That's the fucking factory.
Yeah.
And it's to get yourself out of that mindset. You got to think, why am I doing this? What's my motivation for it?
Your motivation is to make big money so you can pay big tax dollars.
Yeah.
Or my correlation to that is I say this to people that work for me all the time, do the things of which you need to do in order to do the things of which you want to do, because time is the only asset that we have zero control over and we get less and less of every day. And it doesn't matter the amount of money you make.
But you were the first person that just sat here and said that felt like you right now, as far as the money and the whip and to take your life for the money.
yeah, I have people who work for me, but
Oh, so you got it harder than them, is what you're saying.
well, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm
Okay.
saying is that I'm thinking about all of because before I did not have people who worked for me. Okay.
Okay.
And when I needed to steer the ship, I would just steer it, right?
Yeah.
I get paid monthly. I get paid residually every month. So
But now you have a responsibility for
now
other
I've
people.
got responsibility. Now, over the last 6 months, I've become a part of a corporate machine, which before I was still rep the same company, but my ship, I could steer it the way I want to. If I wanted to take 2 weeks off and go racing, I could. So, but now, I think we all do the things of which we need to do to try and buy our time back. Whereas you've taken a route of fuck that noise.
Right.
I was down to $5. I put it in a slot machine, and then took another 20 and turned that into $2,000. And then right after that, I said fuck that money, and you went to go help hurricane victims.
Right.
And you gave all of your money on your way to other people, and you had to earn more money in
Right.
order to get to your destination.
Right.
So the mindset of that money, which is basically you've taken it from what is essentially the root of all evil. You recognize that, you recognize that, you saw that, and then you turned that switch off in your head, which I would consider 99% of the population cannot do. It doesn't
The
even know
factory.
that
Right.
does not even know that switch exists, that you can do it. The only other guy that comes to mind, really, that is in a similar, shall we say, part of the industry like what you're in, Psycho Billy. Like he has,
Close, but he covers his P's and Q's very well.
I know that, but yeah, it's similar though, because he lives on next to nothing, right? And he's on the road.
He makes pretty good. He makes a living.
He makes, yes,
He pays his bills.
yeah. But my point is that to live that nomad lifestyle, right? And we've talked about the racing family over and over and over again, and how powerful it truly is.
It is pretty powerful.
Yeah, like, and seeing you here for the first time, I knew who you were, but now seeing you here and listening to the story that you're telling, it's pretty inspirational when you think about the definition of a shoestring traveler. How many race teams have taken everything that they've had, put it into their race car or hauler or whatever, and then a guy like, and then they do what they have to do in order to make it to the next town, to make it to the next racetrack. You, in essence, have done a similar thing where you don't look at money as an asset, rather you look at it as a tool, as a means to get from A to B.
Right.
Because unfortunately, good looks and charm and humility, like those of us on this side of the room have, Chaz.
Right.
Good looks, charm,
Right.
eloquence.
Those fuckers don't get
Yeah,
it.
they don't. They ain't. Nah,
Well, that Darf. The
Darf,
fuck?
yeah.
Are you missing a W? You trying to make fun of Rico? You fucking asshole.
Yeah, no kid. Rico's got enough trouble in his
Hey, if
life.
you put a W to that, what does it say?
Dwarf.
Yeah, you fucker. But
Rico's got enough trouble in his life. He doesn't need shirts that, you know.
Abreu Vineyards is a very, man, I mean, Bohemian Grove is real. All right?
Oh my god.
But my point.
But what I would say to what you're saying, is I have had plenty of opportunities over these last 4 or 5-ish years now to make plenty of money and just go right back
To the whip.
to the fucking Matrix, I guess you would call it.
Like, I want,
You know, I feel
I want to say that, but like, it's the Matrix.
That's really what it is. That's why the Matrix movie was so impactful to our society. That's why it lasted
Absolutely
as
was.
long as it did,
That's a
because everyone was
so-
watching it like, that is me. I'm this fucking thing that doesn't even want to do what it's doing, and I'm doing it. And so,
Yeah, psychology. Guess the first movie we watched.
Matrix.
First day of class, The Matrix. And it's like, it instantly turns that switch on your head to make you think about what the hell you're even doing.
right.
Or what
Well,
the hell,
and-
what the hell I even am.
Well, and I studied a lot of stuff. When I say I studied, like, and like all those 200,000 miles I drove, I wasn't just listening to like Tell Junior Download.
Yeah, you're listening to...
I'm listening to like First Human Societies, Sumerian texts. I'm listening to Nazi Germany psychology.
Oh, that stuff's wild.
Go!
Oh my god, that don't
So-
even.
so
I
fucking-
can't do that.
I was
It's
listening.
terror. It's awful.
You know, Mayan astrology.
Yeah.
You know, I'm listening to some shit on what these people or they have
Right.
learned.
The
from.
Mayan astrology is powerful stuff.
Well, the Mayan astrology shows you the extent that elite people will do to you.
Yeah.
yeah.
The Mayan the Mayan
wild.
tribe sacrificed, cut the heads off of like 80,000 people a day. And they were saying it because the sun made a eclipse.
Yes,
and
this is wild.
the elites of the Mayans were telling the population, America, whatever you want to call it. This is how elites work. They were telling the population of America, that is a god up there causing that eclipse to happen, and that means y'all must sacrifice your babies and yourself for that god. And the elites knew the entire time that it was just the astrology that was
Yeah.
an eclipse.
Yeah.
But this is the
wild.
extent that elites
Could control people.
can do. Yeah. That's why it's so important to understand that. We act like that's so barbaric and ancient, but it's the same. You just have to, modernize your thinking. That's why I was so mad at the dollar bills and the systems at place, because these are the same. You can cut your head off by sacrificing your life for a job you don't want to do just to make someone else happy.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
The axe that cut off their heads back then has changed.
They just learned that we can use you for 60 years on tax dollars and this and that. Instead of having you die today, we'll just kill your life early at age in a factory and breed you to serve us. We're closer to livestock as regular human beings than we are to humans. These fuckers have this switch that you're talking about that continuously allow that to occur. And like I said, I was studying all this shit and looking at it, and like I said, I've had plenty of opportunities. I could go bitch mode is what I would call it. Not once again, not being mean to anyone who works a 9-to-5 job. you are doing what you have to do for your life and your family, and that is a very institutable thing that is needed in life. Unfortunately, there are some very bad people who have manipulated you to be happy about that.
Yeah, there's lots of people out there that say, I just live within my means.
Right.
Why? You know?
Right. What is your life at that point?
Right.
This is why suicide is so high.
Right. Exactly.
This is why, and Patty Pivotton or whatever, the USC fighter, talking about male suicide. This is because the male is the operational tool.
Yes, exactly.
We're the slave. We're the strong. We just do it a different way now. And then you manipulate the society with feminism and patriarchies and all this to make the women turn on the men so that they can become the worker of the ship as well.
Yeah,
what the fuck are you doing? Great job, you dumbasses. It's so. I mean,
I would look at like.
No man, I've done
like,
so much study, and when you start saying psychology, it's like I'm fucking 50 years ahead of them fuckers.
When you,
but you're not wrong. No, you are not wrong.
I can teach those fucking classes. I've already been asked twice to be a psychiatrist and a psychologist. I'm like, I ain't went to school. I've dropped out.
In essence, what you've done is you've taken your passion, racing, but you've taken it, which is all of our passions. You've taken it and you've observed it in a different way because you are now free of the confines of the almighty dollar, if you will. And I would consider that what you went through that time where you put that $5 bill in the slot machine in Vegas.
Prior to that, too.
Prior to that, you thinking, you know what? I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to be free. I'm going to break up with the dollar, remove myself from the matrix, and go do what it is that you choose to do.
Well, and here's the deal.
And scratch a living out of it.
I'm halfway inserted.
We have to be.
Well, here's the deal.
Just
like in the movie, how they're like out of it and in it, out of it and in it, out of it and in it. Here's why I'm so situated around the racing world, personally, is because I think that there's two things. The reason I came back to the racing world first, well, I'd say three now. I'm going to say first. First of all, I believe in a God. Whatever God that is, righteous is what he is. I don't know if it's one or two or a group. Whatever righteous and good is. There's goods and evils. I don't know if it's one of each side or 10 of each side. Fuck it. I ain't prejudiced on what you believe. I'm just saying, if you think it's one and almighty, that's fine. I believe in a God. And I believe that everything is happening for fucking reasons. And I think anyone out there who don't think you're experiencing shit on a daily, when shit goes wrong and you're like, what the fuck? It's just bad luck. No, there's something happening. Oh, yeah. Something's trying to tell you, hey, whatever the fuck there's some choices you made today that is allotting you that reaction. So when I posted that first video to Facebook and it got when I'm down bum working at fucking, back from the whole shit that went down and I'm working a regular job. I mean, I was making decent money, but I'm like, it felt like all that happened to me for more than just to be back at working at a fucking roofing company. And when I posted that one fucking first video and it went 90,000 views, first video, never had a page or anything. First day posted the video, October 22nd, 2017. And it went 90,000. I was like, this means something. And since then to now, I think that means when judging the racing world, the dirt racing world in general, it is full of one thing, smart people. Because smart people are the ones that have had to work. I've had to work my whole fucking life. And I'm smart, not because I graduated from Harvard like the fucking Skulls and Bones clip though is. I'm smart because I ain't always had anything given to me. And I've had to figure out a fucking way to make it work with what I have.
Right.
And that's real smart. That's intelligence. So the dirt racing world is full of fucking intelligence. And it's also full of people who know that they're better than how they're being represented. Most people in the racing world feel deep down inside like I could be these different guys. And it's unlike a fucking, high school quarterback at 35 saying I could be Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
That's completely different than him or somebody here racing a 360 at your local track kicking ass saying I could be Kyle Larson. No, you really fucking could be. You could be. There are so many drivers out there better than a fucking Eric Amarola.
Right.
I'm just
Eric
saying.
Jones.
Top 10 down. Name it. It's real.
Yep.
Like, so that's what I mean by saying there are
Anybody could have been Michael McDowell in the Daytona 500.
Anyone.
Literally.
Like,
So
I'm not
Literally,
kidding.
Trevor Bain, Derek Cope,
Yeah.
all guys that fell into the Daytona.
Well, and
500,
that's
yeah.
why I think that my path has led me to the dirt racing world. I don't think it's a niche. It's something that's been around my life my whole time. I learned a lot of systems, and there's a lot of intelligent people who are being unfairly represented in the dirt racing world. And if you listen to my messages the last 4 years, that's all I'm fucking saying. I started making videos, never mentioned Kyle Larson at all. He came onto my fucking videos talking shit. I didn't even start talking shit about Larson. He came to me talking shit. When one of my third video out reached 300,000 people in a month's time. I went first video 90,000, second video 60, third video 300,000. Here's Kyle Larson talking shit. So I'm like, okay, bitch, you want to talk? Fuck you, Co Trickle. Started calling him Co. That's all you are. I started going into what I've been explaining here. All these guys could be you. Fuck you. Now, in a weird way, if we look at it from the elitist perspective, that's Kyle Larson helping me out. That's him being Triple H and me being Stone Cold. Mm-hmm. We're just putting on a show.
Yep.
Is that what it is? Who knows? That's not how I took it. I just looked at it as like, all right, you want to talk shit to me? Well, here's your shit right back.
But now, as you said, like in the beginning, you like Kyle. Kyle likes you. Caitlin likes you.
I never had an issue. My girlfriend's very jealous of Caitlin. She thinks that me and her have something going on. I don't know why she thinks that. I'm very fat. I mean, I have a very small penis. I'm jealous of this microphone. But no, I'm just saying.
Which one? You have two there.
But yeah, like you said, though.
Both.
Putting on a show.
Well, I'm just saying, like.
It started off, but just like you said.
And who knows if he liked me or not. I didn't know at that time. I just knew that I was making stuff, shit was happening and working for me, and he came on there talking shit. And I ain't just, you can't be a fucking bitch, man.
Was this
So that's safe
before
to say.
iRacing?
Like,
No, this was after R Factor. We never did iRacing.
Or,
back then.
okay, so
So,
Sim,
for-
regardless.
I hate to put it this way. A normal human goes up to Kyle Larson. They act like they're a different
Oh,
human.
bitch.
You don't
Oh,
give a crap.
bitch.
You don't care who it is. If you talk to Michael Jordan today, it's another like
Go
you don't
ask.
know- yeah.
You'll be racing, right? Your micro. Go ask Kyle Busch how did Chaz talk to him. I talked to him. I said, "Hey, what's going on? Heard you are getting a provisional. What's going on?" Oh yeah, they must just like us. And see, that story was so fucking bullshit because they tried to. Oh, we declined it. No, it was like an hour, and then I broke the story, and then they kicked me out the building. Then it's declined. Regardless, after I said that to him, I was like, kind of explain what I do and stuff, and I was like, he's agreeing. A lot of these A-listers will agree with what we're talking
Because Kyle
about.
Busch, I hate to like. I'm thinking about this. Kyle Busch is the way he is because he hates the system of like NASCAR publicity BS. Like he sees more or less of the bogus, trying to tear crap out of him, fake people, and that's why he is the way he is, in my opinion.
I mean, but his wife still has fake tits, right? So I mean, if you don't like fake, then accept the woman.
I don't know that information.
If you don't, here's how raw I am. If you don't like fake, then don't accept anything fake.
I guess
Love
I don't know
everything
that his
that's
wife
raw.
has fake boobs.
I'm just saying, and that's not just a judgment on him. That's a judgment on a lot of people. Oh, I like real, I like truth. Well, then like your woman how she comes. Be real to yourself. If you
Yeah.
don't like fake, then don't buy fake. I don't know. Kyle Busch, I had only one interaction with him. I'm just making a little joke with a tit deal, but I'm just saying, real fake. I'm being real with that too. Don't
right.
be happy with real. Right. But honestly, I think me and Kyle Busch would have got along if it didn't go the way it went.
Yeah.
It went the way it went because of a fucking promoter. When me and Kenny Wallace talked about it, he's like, yeah, you got fucked over. I mean, I don't know. Kyle Busch is a different entity, but he's about to be kicked out because he don't play ball.
Yeah, exactly.
He's about to get kicked out because he don't play ball, and really, at the end of the day, they're just trying to move Ty Gibbs in with the monarchy.
Exactly.
The fucking NASCAR
That's
deal is a monarchy.
It's what Toyota. I mean, all the manufacturers that
It's
way.
the most
But
anti-American sport there is NASCAR.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The one in America, if you work hard and determined and are trying,
the
and
American
you're
dream.
talented,
The
and
American
you
dream.
will make it to the top. Where is that in racing?
It used to be.
Nowhere.
It used to be that way.
Could drive your way in.
Yeah, it used to be that way.
Right, used to be, But it ain't anymore.
But even then, when it used to be, how many people actually got there?
6.
Pat.
You
Dorr
still had to pat some asses and kiss some asses on your way there.
Yeah, Pat though
Exactly.
he went on the Outlaw Tour, but chose not to. Again, it's not as if he wasn't good enough, but
Well,
anyway.
and the dirt world's a microcosm of the NASCAR world in a weird way. The sprint car world is especially. Late models is a little more free market.
yeah,
Late models is free market. Sprint cars is communistic.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how I would see it.
What's your prediction for this weekend? Who do you think's the hot shoe?
Late models or
Yeah.
360 Nationals?
Late models and 360 Nationals.
Late models, man, it depends on which way the track goes. Right now, Bobby Pierce is good on the top. I mean,
He
you saw him at
always
Fairbury.
comes around at the end of that race
I mean,
too. But
you saw him at Fairbury. He came from 16th to 2nd.
that's what he's done at Cedar.
Yeah.
That one he got with Herb.
Okay, we are to move it.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, we're good. We're good. We can put the long black thing back in the mouth. Oh, shit.
Jesus Christ.
All right, we can do this. I'm used to holding up a camera all the time. No. We can do it. We can do it. We don't need another 10-minute delay. It's screwed.
What might be a sign that
No, I think what's happening
Yeah.
is this got loose.
I have another arm? I just forgot it on my kitchen table.
Yeah, well, speaking of long and black, another arm, huh? Hey, don't be talking about Rico. All right? Don't be talking about Rico. Those little-
That's your trip.
And then tighten that one down. Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, God. We're still on live? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We can't edit this then, huh? No, I don't know Herb much. I shouldn't say that about Herb, but I've heard some stories. I don't know personally, but Dietrich, yeah, I've had personal issues with him, too. It's just a bad person, in my opinion.
Kind of see that. I mean, I don't know, obviously.
Well,
But like you look at Twitter out, he's out there on Twitter too.
the
and-
problem with PA is they're so arrogant.
Yeah.
Like their fans, and I get it. I mean, they get 10,000 fans weekly at some of these races. So, but once again, big in their little bubble.
You're right.
They just become such
Who
a
is
big
PA
deal.
when you travel to Cal? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So after this entire conversation,
360 Nash.
the biggest. Well, actually, did you make your picks?
Well, I'm really excited.
I want to finish these picks first for USA
Yeah.
because this is going to come out like probably 3 weeks after USA. So it doesn't
Oh,
really
well, we
matter.
don't even need to talk about it then.
Yeah. Move on.
Edit that out. Edit.
yeah.
Hey, who's your editor?
David,
David, edit it out.
Blacklight Creative. He's
What about
pretty-
Black?
Blacklight.
That's
It's-
his business.
It's Dick Black.
Oh, okay.
Dick
All right.
Black is
okay,
what
Mr.
we
Floyd.
call him.
Okay, Mr.
Dick
Floyd.
Black.
Dick Black. Anyways, Blacklight Creative, great company.
Okay.
Do good editing.
I'm not denying.
Are we done with that part?
Sure.
So we can move on. now?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, for 3 weeks later.
Is anyone else confused yet?
I'm not. You said Bobby.
Hey, Chaz, do
Move
you
on.
enjoy yellow lollipops?
What in the fuck did you just say to me?
Is it the Tootsie Roll ones that you like the best?
What the fuck's he talking about?
Yeah. Exactly.
How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
You know they have that simulator where they did 1,000 chickens versus 100 T-Rexes.
What?
Oh
Yes.
my god,
It's on
this is the
YouTube.
best ever.
Have you seen that?
No,
No.
Oh my god, they really do it. It's 1,000 roosters versus like 100 T-Rexes. The roosters win, or it's like 100,000, something like that. It's like a war. It's like a war simulator.
you just took this question.
Yeah, I heard lollipops and shit. I'm like, all right, they want to throw some random shit. I'll throw it right back at them. I got facts.
What shoe do you put on first, left or right?
I guess right.
Random. It's up
Okay.
to you.
When you're getting up in
We
the car,
ain't to the
you know,
2-minute question. We're just giving you a little
when you
hint.
get when you get into the car, you know, you wake up in the car, you really don't look which foot you're putting on. You know, you're just getting up, going in the showers, the pilot. You know,
Yeah.
It's 100% true. So we're gonna move into 2-minute questions later, but
what do you mean 2-minute question?
we have a deal on here where we ask you 2-minute questions, which turns into 20-minute questions. We'll move on to that
I can't
later.
believe I'm almost having to take a piss again. Continue.
Well, we're 2 hours and 12 minutes into this, so
I thought my podcast, when I was a guest, I thought that was long.
this is
Wait.
this kicked yours in the nuts.
This, yeah, the difference between the two is mine was long. I talked a lot, but I didn't say shit.
Right.
This is like full of incredible content.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So I want to take all this incredible content because basically I just sat back and listened because that's all I could really do.
Is there a way to get a copy?
It'll be
Oh,
on
for sure. We
yeah.
can send you one.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have it recorded, but it's only recording my little mic here, so
Right.
we can definitely get a copy.
The sound is way better through these.
I can tell. Yes.
But sitting here listening to the entire story
Conglomerate.
of the Chaz,
Yeah.
the deep holes, the $5, the casinos, the
It's freaking incredible.
working at a racetrack, the roofer, living in a car, still technically living in a car, but
Technically, yeah.
how many racetracks have you been to?
Fuck, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
How many different states have you been in?
Every lower 48.
Okay. How many different places have you been to that you wouldn't have been to with money?
With money, I just stayed in Dallas, Texas, and the surrounding region.
Right.
You know,
So if you would have kept chasing the dream, would you have ever been as intelligent?
you mean the American dream or whatever?
Correct. What you call the dollar or the whip.
Right.
If you would have kept following the whip, would you have been in them places? Would you met the people you met? Would Donnie Schatz be in your phone to text if you had a question?
Fuck no.
Would Sheldon Hottenshield want to tell you why you threw a helmet on the racetrack?
Fuck no.
I'd say you're a lot happier the way you are.
Well, yeah. I mean,
You sure as fuck wouldn't know what Elk Mountain, Wisconsin was.
in a weird way, I know I'm preaching in a way, and I don't really want to influence people to do the same things that I'm doing either.
I just want...
it's not easy, and I think a lot of people would break.
The
I think a lot
background
of people-
picture,
Well, that's
though.
what I mean. I'm like, when I was thinking about when you're saying like this guy looks depressed, I'm like, I think I would just break. Like,
A lot of people
instantly.
would fucking take their own life, dude.
what? That's what I mean. Like,
lot
I didn't
of
want to
people-
say that, but I'm like,
I
Jesus
mean, it's fucking
Christ.
serious. A lot of people would.
it is
It's
a-
not easy. You got to have a fucking.
It
You
is
got to
a-
have a lot of like resilience, personal resilience. You got to go through shit in life. Like up to that point where I went down that, like I'd already watched my dad die. My mom's already died. I mean, I'd already been in relationships that didn't work out. I've had all these, tests. I'd already been roughed up emotionally and physically. My dad was very abusive. I had been through shit. So you got to go through a little hardness to even be prepared for something. And that's almost how I see it as like meant to be. Like I want to be here right now in the room unless I would have got, roughed up as a kid or got, and I think honestly, when I say my dad was very abusive, I feel like it's kind of like the hidden gem or hidden unknown in the white community is males and their kids. They beat the shit out of them. That's kind of like corporal punishment is almost like a thing that we brag about in a weird way.
Yeah, when you get older, it's definitely what you needed, I think.
Well, it is what you needed. There's things you should have your ass whooped, but I do think that a lot of people get their ass whooped a little bit too much sometimes.
Oh, I agree.
I think sometimes that this slave that's mad that they're just living this life they don't want to live and they're going 9 to 5 has a little bit more frustration because they need to live their life a little bit better, but they can't. They got all this frustration built up in them and they take it out on their kid. When they need a whooping for this or that, they take it a little farther. I never got, cut or something like that, but I just felt like I got whooped more than people should be whooped. I think a lot of people in the white community feel the same. They may not have questioned that because in a lot of our minds, our dads are our heroes. So it's hard to question your hero and what they did to you. So I'm just saying there's a lot of things like if I had never went through that or had my dad die or had my mom die or been in a bad relationship, did things that were, if I never felt these things that were really hurtful and recuperated before all that shit happened, I probably wouldn't have made it through. I don't think that someone with a great childhood and just had every girlfriends be great and all this stuff, they would have had something like that happen and they would have been fucking like wanted to know what to do. They wouldn't have known how to handle it. It's just really hard shit.
So, to try to get to 2 minutes.
That's just why I say I don't want to influence
I
people to
understand.
go down the same path.
But I also want you to see, like, the big picture. Because I had a friend that ended up passing because of... It was train jumping. Okay, so jump a train, go to the next town. Make a little money, jump a train, go to the next town. Go here, go there, blah, blah, blah. I won't get into it, but at the end of the day, after she's gone, you look at why she did it and see what she did.
Right.
There's nothing in this world that would have ever made her be able to go to the places that she saw, and she saw more than any of us will ever see.
Maybe
you. Well,
you're trying to say she experienced a life,
right? And
then
that's exactly what you
people
did.
Like
too.
that help kind of make you question your own. That's the problem.
You were down to $5, but you have experienced
all this, and I've been down to worse than that. I've been, you know, in my position where I don't have a lot of money or funding. I've had to trust people along the way. I've had to, you know, guy I'm staying with this week, Chris I've been in situations where I've been with the Chris, and they end up being a fucking cunt. And I'm like, I don't just sit there and shut my mouth.
Right.
You know, Chris ain't a cunt.
No.
But I've been in situations where I may have less money than I have now. I have some money right now. I don't have a lot. When I say
but
some,
to be able
when I say some, I have 1,000. I'm just saying I've been in positions where I've been deserted again since then with worse situations than $5.
Yeah.
You know,
but
it's just I'm prepared. I'm prepared. I mean, I was deserted in Colorado by an asshole. You know, I was only out there because they had, oh, you've been working up and down the road, come out here and, you know, chill in Colorado. And I've never been to Colorado. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, and they end up being a fucking cunt and kicking me out like second day in. You know, they were being mean to their spouse right in front of me, extremely mean. And I stood up for the spouse, you know. And I get kicked to the fucking curb
but
in the middle of Colorado in winter.
And that's a story that you can retain.
Right. And I just had to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know?
And you did.
I did, but it's just like you keep referencing the $5 deal, and I know why you are, because it's like that's a really low point.
Well, it's just
that low point. It's almost like that $5 deal was kind of like the hard life, the hard love, the losing the dad that prepared me for the $5, and now the $5 has prepared me for anything else. And I feel like I have to be like that to face these situations with the World of Outlaws or any of these things that we're talking about racing wise, because I'm facing people who are willing to do the same thing. You know, a lot of media.
You're also willing to learn too.
You have to learn, but you have to also, you can't ever lose the ability to turn your mind away from the money and say, fuck you money. And I'm willing to go broke for truth.
Yeah.
You know, because the reason there ain't nobody out there talking like me is because they took the fucking check.
Yeah.
You know, they took the fucking check. They're taking the dollar.
That when you switch to that mindset, that had to be, and it still has to be, pretty liberating.
I don't want to say I'm a liberal, but
no, liberate.
I know, but that's what liberals stand on, liberations. But
well, no, mentally liberating, like you are freed from
self-satisfactory. I know it's some people call it narcissistic, in a way, because you're doing something that others won't. And it's so noble. They call it narcissism. I mean, some negative people will. I was going to say that's furthest thing from narcissism, what you're doing. Right. Well, that's how narcissists get away with being narcissists, is by calling someone else narcissist. You know, that's what narcissists do. But I'm just saying,
that's true, 100% true.
You could analyze what I'm doing and say it's narcissism to say that, or to turn money down, or to do this and be against this guy. You're just so narcissistic. How can you not? You know, I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's, once again, you know, right versus wrong is a matter of perspective. You know, it's all susceptible. So, I mean, what you're saying is true. It's just there's many ways to look at it. You know?
What does the outlook of the Chaz look like for you? What's the end goal? I mean, you don't necessarily have to get to the end goal, but where is the road actually trying to take you to get to? What is that point where you're like,
there is no point.
Got here.
I don't have no retirement goal. I have keep on keeping on living. You know, I think people set retirements and all this fucking, you know, end of the road glamour, and there is no fuck. Go talk to people who are retired. They hate their fucking life.
They work.
They hate or they sit around and they hate their life, and then their wife or husband dies, and then they die 2 months later.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just work. I work. I still work. Like, it still takes work to fucking edit and talk and do all this shit.
I mean, a lot, like 9 to 5. You condition yourself for a 9 to 5 for 40 years, and you stop. That'll work for a lot of people.
You have a pension fund that BlackRock's just throwing away. You know,
right?
back to the corporatism of the hedge fund groups, you know.
You-
People don't even, if you don't know who BlackRock, Carlyle, and Vanguard is, why are you voting for president? I don't understand this. I mean, I don't understand this.
Bro, the three corporations freaking own everything.
Everything!
They own every.
And they own your beloved Trump, and they own your beloved Bidens, or whatever affiliated person that's on TV playing puppeteer. They own them all.
They probably own Hoosier. They're probably the ones who are causing the tire shortage
Hoosier
right now.
is a German company, and don't you be mean to, you know, the man down there in Antarctica. I was gonna say Argentina, but
What does Antarctica have to do with Germany?
Germany. Oh,
Jersey.
you didn't study what happened after World War II.
Oh, that
did you study?
You're
that?
talking about Argentina.
Not me.
Yeah, Argentina.
Argentina. That's where the Nazis fled.
Yes, I was. when
Yes,
you
he
said
knows.
Well, when you said Antarctica, I'm like,
where-
what does that have to do with anything? But yeah, Argentina. You can go today.
There's
to
more. Yeah, there's more Nazi colonies.
towns and cities in Argentina where all they speak is German.
Yeah, there's more There's more Nazi or German colonies in Chile than native.
And
my
on top of
gosh.
that, they found U-boats.
Oh
like
boy.
tons
Oh boy.
of
He knows.
U-boats, German U-boats on the shores of South America. So yeah,
And
But-
I say Antarctica, flat Earth, bro. Just saying, flat Earth, Antarctica. That's the wall. I'm kidding, but
thank you.
Just to say,
How intelligent most of this has been. I thought we were done.
That's what I was
you know
thinking.
you can't visit Antarctica without global approval.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
What's up with that shit? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
You can't,
Holy hell!
Why,
This
bro?
is a Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
that's how you get big time, man.
Well, this
You
is
wanna
what-
go
yeah,
big?
this is-
I'm moving to your couch now. We got this every
That's
week.
fine. Go ahead.
Just kidding.
It's open. I'll just clean this out. You can come in and out right here.
Oh well, as long as the bathroom's ready, I got to piss again. Oh my god, am I dying? Is this bladder cancer?
you might.
I don't think it's bladder cancer, but you've only made it 14 minutes since the last
really?
time. Yeah,
Oh my god, that is bad.
that's pretty
It's that
bad.
Chippewa River.
dude, it's tell me psychology, dude. Psychology. I wonder how many people psychology has led to suicide.
Yep.
It's
That was when you.
dude. I'm
when
serious,
you brought that
dude.
up,
When you get into that, it's like it fucks you the fuck up. Like you watch The Matrix and you're like,
I just had a buddy-
right when you watch The Matrix, you're like, damn, that was some hard shit. And then you watch it and you're like, that's some wimpy ass shit. After you learn half the stuff that goes on with your brain,
Right.
you lost me
or
when you.
dude. If you get into like how Putin or like Hitler has like just convinced society that this is
Are
right.
you recording?
Yes.
You should be.
It's always regret.
So how you convince like how a Putin or a what's the communist guy and oh my
Stalin?
God, Stalin. How he like? Have you heard his quotes on like how
Oh
he's?
yeah, very
like-
smart.
It's
very
like
smart.
It's like what in the living fuck is like? It's just wild.
The better ones to listen to or to go study are like the Charlie Mansons and MS-13s.
I've never heard of it.
No, wow.
I've never had the time to.
Oh, Charlie Manson or MK Ultra?
I feel like I've heard that name.
No, MK Ultra is a CIA program for mass psychological manipulational
Oh, I can't get into that.
tactics.
I
The man who
gotta-
stare at goats.
Yeah, now I know what you're talking about. Oh, that we talked about. And that's
That's
psychology.
That's the CIA.
Dude,
the
it's
CIA
so
actually
fucked
ran
up.
those things.
It's so fucked up.
The CIA actually ran those
Dude.
things.
You get into like I dipped into like twice like Nazis psychological
Oh,
stuff.
it's top of the line.
Dude, it's fucked up. Like so like you like think about you as a human being and you're like, how could you do this to somebody?
You know what's more fucked up? You want to know how fucked up this society is? America, for one, and I'm not trying to be anti-American because they're all fucked up.
Yeah, well,
The peace treaty was signed before they dropped the fucking bombs.
yeah.
They didn't have to drop the fucking bombs
Nope.
in Hiroshima and all that. Peace treaty was fucking signed. Everybody already
They knew
quit.
they lost. Yeah.
Why'd
was-
you kill 120,000 people in 30 minutes?
It's so stupid.
A test.
It's
You
a-
big
it
dick
was a test.
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It was.
Just saying. You think that
Oh,
they love you
absolutely.
so much, but they'll kill 120,000 people at a glimpse of a fucking eye. You think they love you so
Harry,
much.
Harry Truman said that was the one thing that if he were to regret anything about his presidency, it was dropping the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki because
I don't think it was his decision. It's called the military-industrial complex.
Well,
fucking Biden just gave him $800 billion.
well, he had the codes to do it at the time, but he was coerced into that decision because
if you don't do it, you're Kennedy.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
If you don't do it, you're Kennedy.
Well, he
Half
signed
the
it.
dude, look at
No, hold on. Let him finish his thought. What did you want to
Japanese-
say? Let him finish his
Well, you
thought.
sign a peace treaty, and then you do what America always does. Oh yeah, okay, you're good. Fuck you anyway. We're gonna make you real good by blowing
Well,
you
that
up.
was kind of the big dick signal to don't fuck with us.
Yeah.
That was walking up in the room when no one's really bothering you and just knocking the biggest guy out and just throwing your dick down the table. Seriously, that's what it was. It was like, we got the biggest dick, don't fuck with us.
Well, Truman even had a sign on his desk that said the buck stops here. And he meant it. He was one of those guys that was so matter of fact about everything. And in fact, he didn't even know, Truman didn't know about the Manhattan Project until he became president. When he was vice president of Roosevelt, he didn't do anything. He was retired essentially.
Well, and then at that point, even though it killed 120,000 people in a matter of 30 minutes or whatever, and the nuclear radiations and all that still plague the fucking area today.
Yeah. You can't go to those places.
You also have to think about it. Was it still a good thing? Was it still a good thing? So if they don't drop that nuclear bomb, then nobody knows the damage that nuclear weapons can cause, and then people would still eventually use them just
There's a
to...
reason why only 2 have ever been used in existence.
But what I'm saying, if those 2 were never used, then they eventually would have been anyway.
Oh, exactly. If
And
you
one-
didn't have
Until you got that example of how damaging it was, somebody would have eventually fucking
established fear.
And 1%.
Tsar Bomba would have been fucking lit up by
the Soviets.
Oh, dude, that
The
bomb's
Soviets
crazy.
had it, man. Oh my God, the biggest one ever dropped.
Tsar bomb, whatever it's called. It's
Underground up in the Arctic Oceans.
Tsar Bomba.
1% of the plutonium completed fission in the atomic bombs.
Well, and see, that's my theory.
There's
And
enough energy in the tip of your pen to power you for the rest of your life and the entire community.
so my little thoughts of how the big boys work ain't just ended at fucking NASCAR. So, my biggest theory right now, and I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this by somebody watching in the room right now, CIA, whatever. Because Predator can go invisible, don't mean they can't. But anyway, you notice how they're all about going back to the moon. All of a sudden, this big moon deal, And I'm a huge believer in signs as well. Like, there is a free Masonic world out there. There is artists that create things to symbolize to regular people. This is what they really believe. Masonic temples are true. It's not like a joke. This is what people do. And if you look into fission energy, the number one proponent for fission energy is helium-3.
Yeah, I
But
don't know that
helium-3 is scarce on Earth. But it is so abundant on the moon. The moon is nothing but helium-3.
It's 97% of the atmosphere on the moon is helium-3.
Yes. And if you look at and this is why they're going all green and all that, because helium-3 would be the proponent for the next level of energy because it's more powerful than nuclear. There's just no way to resource it on Earth. That's why you go look at Exxon and BP researchers. They've stopped looking for oil reserves and turned all into going to harvest moon energy. And if you look at the first commercial flights to the moon that are coming up, they're all resource excavators. They're all looking at it. And the Freemasonic thing would be once you learn or once you've resourced something so much, you've kind of raped the earth of its resources. You go out, and now you're going to go out into the space, the deep blue, we'll call it, to resource from a external entity. You are kind of, selling a ship in a way. You're going out to resource. And the people who have resourced the earth and definitionals would be the patriarchy, the male-dominant society that's resourced the moon. And then if you're going to sell off into the deep blue to resource and steal energy from something else, you are now a buccaneer.
Well, you're a pirate.
Or you're Tom Brady.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh, Freemasons. And you saw the video on Instagram where Tom Brady throws the football to the moon and it blows up?
God
Space
dang it,
Force.
man.
Space Force for the win. Space Force, because there's got to be a war for a resource.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, Space Force. Come on now. Let's go Top Gun 2
you know
and your
that-
little moon fucking ship at the
Do you know
beginning.
that there's only 26?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't
See what
watch
I'm-
it.
Top Gun 2 starts out with the fucking thing that'll go Mach 10.
Do you know that there's only 26
right.
MOSs in the Space Force? Only 26 jobs that you can get when you go to the Space Force.
Right now.
Yeah, now, but that's changing.
Right.
Have you watched
Elon
the
Musk
Netflix
is helping.
series, Space Force?
No, oh, the funny one.
I watched Elon Musk's
I love it.
documentary, Return to Space or something. I watched that last night, actually. And
With Tom?
no. No. Fuck no. No. Shut up, Blake.
Is that an inside joke?
So
Tom does fit.
the guy who's at my house right now, I used to be on his pit crew. Tom Nesbitt is his name.
What do you mean he's at your house? Like,
He's literally parked outside of my house in his motorhome right now.
oh, so he's like
He's
me
from
at Chris's.
Canada and he drives a motorhome called the American
Yeah.
He's like me, but
Yeah.
he's doing it the right way. You know, he's not in the car. He's in
But
a,
he's-
he's a motorhome.
He's a Canadian.
from Canada with the American
With
dream.
an
What you talking about? No.
And so I pitted for him for 8 years. He retired in 08, but I just still pit for him essentially. And yeah, after Rice Lake on Saturday, I think during the evening at some one point in time, somebody asked Tom, "Where are you going to go?" And I said, "Fuck my house, Walmart, don't matter, like wherever, on your way to Cedar Lake." Well, then yesterday or Sunday, he showed up at my house, and where I live, it's a pretty narrow road, and you have to like circle this. If your foot, Blake, you guys appreciate this, but you have to circle around in order to get to the spot where to park at. Well, some guy had a trailer there, and he was working at one of the townhouses down from mine, and Tom threw a fit. Threw an absolute fit. I'm like, Tom, the guy's just doing his job. And then he's like, where am I going to park? I'm like, well, get him situated in a parking lot. And then he's been at my house ever since. And he's 82. He's in failing health. You know, I love the guy like a dad, you know.
Trying to be
but
sympathetic.
not even that. I just, you know, he's taught me and done more for me than I could ever do for him.
Okay, so you feel like you're in debt in a way.
No, it's like a dad, you know.
Okay.
He's very much a father figure to me, but he's also a crabby old man. So I have to, you know, like he was texting me just a little bit ago. His refrigerator door is broken, and he said, my shit is melting. I'm like, put it in my fridge in the house. I don't care. I'm busy right now. Like, I'm doing stuff. But he's a guy you should talk to
Oh no.
regarding a lot of the topics that we covered tonight, because like you, he sort of freed himself from the dollar, utilizes it as a tool, but tries to do, and was a shoestring traveler throughout his entire career. But also, like you, he's got this weird, it's not weird, continuous thirst for knowledge. Like he's always trying to learn and study things and continuously make himself a more well-rounded, educated person, which that in and of itself is one of the biggest values that he taught me, was don't ever stop learning,
Right.
you know? And so
I guess he just did it a little later in life than I did, although mine was halfway forced, but
he started 45, 50 years ago,
Okay.
you know, like trying to work things around. Like we were talking about tires the other day, and I brought up that we always took the right rear and moved it to the right front, where every other race team out there, when the right rear went through all of its heat cycles, they tossed it. And I said, explain that to me like I'm a 2-year-old, because why
we're
would
talking
we,
about fender cars, obviously.
late models, yeah. And he said, and he pointed out that the whole idea of just running a right rear on a right rear is a scam. It was a scam by the tire dealers or Hoosier to try and sell more freaking tires. And I thought about it, 100% correct, right? So a lot of the things that you have said tonight too, you start thinking about them, you're 100% right, you know, and this conversation, I think I can speak for both Blake and Zach. When first off, thank you,
Oh God.
1,000,000% for your time.
This is the Jerry Maguire mission statement part.
I'm saying it's eye opening to actually talk to somebody who is truly in the business of dirt track racing, which is what you are. You're trying to promote drivers that fit a certain category, the underrepresented drivers that have begun to prove themselves, that are of a certain age, say over 25 or 30.
Well, and it's not even just that. Like, that's why I still give the Inks to the Schatzes and the Gravels and the Houghton and the Davenports, because even they are y'all in another division of respect.
Sure.
Like, the regular sprint car guy isn't going to be 410 guy and get that respect, but still at the end of the day, like I said, the fucking dirt guy, if you're not a NASCAR guy, you're a fucking nobody. Like,
Right.
Bobby Pierce and them.
Nobody knows who Bobby Pierce is. If
Like,
you,
you
don't
go
follow
look up
racing.
Go look up Austin Cindric, Daytona 500 winner. He's got 11,000 likes on Facebook.
Yeah.
He is a nobody. But NASCAR's media and their fucking stranglehold, that thing I said would bust their whole fucking system. That's what they're living on.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what's keeping the Gravels and the Shots is down. And in a weird way, elevating the Gravel and the Shots' abilities and status is elevating the regular guy's status at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it's still the same car, it's the same class, but it's a whole nother level of battle. Because they're battling the NASCAR people, where y'all are battling the 410 people in a weird way.
Yeah.
You know, so it's all in unison. So I try to bounce on both of them. That's why I try to do the documentary stuff like I did with Chris and with Sam, the local guys, to try to give people a story of a person or a group of people, and then I'll do the reporting kind of coverage stuff with the national names to try to cover that element and talk shit to the NASCAR and kind of work on that element of, like, here's badasses, here's the top, because in dirt they are the top. I don't have to go do a documentary series with Gravel and Shots to help people know who they are in that element in the dirt world, like a regular guy like Chris and y'all. I mean, nobody knows who these fucking people are. You know, they don't know who UMSS is. Like, I guarantee you when I put the video out of UMSS, they're going to be like, what the fuck is this? They never heard of these cars before.
Right.
You know, I didn't even know Cedar Lake ran sprint cars. You know, they may have heard of it at the Cedar Lake Dirt Vision deal. That may have been the first time they ever heard of it at all.
Most likely.
And then
Right.
and the Outlaws go the next race, and they're just an afterthought. Okay, what's the next support class here at Weedsport? Or,
Right.
you know. So I try to do, like, document video style things with the littler teams, and then I try to do the coverage stuff with the bigger national. Like, when I go to Knoxville, I might or may not. Some people are trying to talk to me about doing some stuff, but I'm more than likely I'm looking at Knoxville as like a reporting aspect.
Sure.
Whereas, like, I'm looking at, like, if I go to, like this last weekend at Cedar, it's more so of a documentary style, because there's no disrespect, but there's no stars to report on. So you gotta, like, I gotta take the following that I built on from reporting and talking about the stars, and then put these characters, because the thing that sold Dale Earnhardt's and all these were the characters.
Right.
You know, the people. You know, they already have these thoughts of Gravel or Shots, and even when I do docu stuff like I did with Gravel and Shots, it exposes their more character and all that. But my main talking videos, like that I'm usually known for, based on reporting or commentary or opinion, those kind of videos wouldn't really work for a UMSS. You know, because why are people going to tune in to what Chris Vogel thought about the race last weekend versus what Donnie Schatz thought about the bullshit last? You know, it's
Right.
just a so
100%.
Well, yeah.
I have to attack it differently, and I am for the little guy, and then sometimes I have to be not for the big guy, but I still have to be for the Donnie Schatz and I have to be for the Donnie Schatz and Gravel in comparison to NASCAR, just like I have to be for the little guy in comparison to the Outlaws. You know, it's the same thing. It's just another level. You know.
Yeah. Well, boys, my mind.
I'm sorry. I'm
no.
talking too much.
No, you're not. My mind is blown after this. Like,
Oh no.
Oh, it's 100% true.
That kick-ass
Yeah.
beef jerky used to sponsor me. I did a video on Mississippi Thunder Speedway a couple years ago with Tyrone and a modified sport mod guy. So he used to sponsor me. I see his stuff up here all the time. He didn't sponsor me, but he gave something. I forgot, helped me get in somewhere or something like that. And that's all it takes to sponsor me. Like, I've had people, like, my biggest supporter to this day that sent me money when I really needed it. When I got kicked out in Colorado, he helped me out. His first donation was like $50 or 50 cents. Sorry, not $50, 50 cents. He just thought I was bullshitting. I was like, if you send me anything, I'll add you on my shit. You'll be a supporter. Jump on the bandwagon, you know. And when I see that, or when I say that, it's like, hey, you know, I want a list of fucking 1,000 people that say, hey, what this guy's saying is true, you know.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
what
we
it's gonna
definitely, I think, witnessed that today.
Well, it's just,
Yeah.
I guess you can call it opinions, but it's
Well, the way you
It's opinions that need to get out
it's like
there.
unstereotypical. Like it's not freaking NASCAR reporter guy. It's not. It's different. It's
The way
different
that you-
material that's brought to the spectrum.
the way that you quote unquote make your word paintings, and I'm using two different similes here. You're like the spinning plate guy, right? So you've got 12 different.
Talking about Bob Ross.
Oh, God. Or are you talking about Emeril Lagasse?
No,
Bam! Bam!
so you're
I'm like the diners, drive-in, and dies dude.
Guy
right?
Fieri.
Yeah, Guy Fieri. Although he's a bad guy. I don't want to talk about all his legal troubles with women, but
yeah, but you got all these different.
Yeah.
You got all these different stories going, and you're connecting things that happened in World War II to what's going on in the national racing scene today, like similar storylines and stuff. So, and then you bring that all together
Yeah.
in such a way to where you are looking out for and standing up for and helping to promote those people that do not have a shot
Right.
at the big time
it's
without
respect.
without guys like you. And you talk about like what you're doing with UMSS. Maybe the next Donnie Schatz is driving one of them cars.
Right. I think what I told Pat's very important. I think a lot of car owners need to hear that. Who
Yeah,
bring
you
in
aren't
these big
wrong.
Very.
fucking names and all that shit.
You bring in names because it's names.
And-
like-
yeah, but fuck.
What does
man.
it matter?
Well, because that fucking status.
yeah,
That fucking status. That money gives you status. You know, it goes right back to the system.
So what do you do in the off season?
There ain't no fucking
there ain't no
off-season.
off season anymore.
Like, but like
What
you-
month? Mention it.
between Christmas and Arizona.
Fucking, I don't know. Last time it's Christmas week is fucking shootout.
I have a question about this. Okay, so
Christmas
the
week-
status,
week is
like
shootout.
No, but like when you like, for example, when you say you go, like I know you, yeah, you're
Well,
nomadic, but like you
This,
got
this last year I had a girlfriend, so I went with her Christmas. But Christmases before, I mean, there's sometimes I'll sweep into Texas, sometimes because that's where shootout is and everything. So I'll go down there sometimes for Christmas or maybe a Thanksgiving and then swing up to shootout. But it won't be long.
so you are consistently, perpetually on the road. Like, do you ever take 2 weeks off and
There's regions where I'll settle.
Sure.
Like if I go to PA or California, Northern California, you kind of have to settle there for a month because there's races happening. Or like here in August, September after Knoxville, you could pretty much go to PA and catch every big fucking sprint car race there is. Tuscarora 50s, you know, Williams Grove National Opens, or not Open, whatever the last one is called. There's just, got Dirt Classic out there. You can stay regionally based for a while, depending on which series you're trying to go after. I've been trying to branch out into late model stuff more often. So when you equate late models stuff, I mean, you literally, if you do late models and sprint car stuff, you literally do not have to stop at all, period, the entire year.
Right.
Especially
do
if
you ever choose to and choose to unplug? And if so, where do you do that?
I mean, since I got the girlfriend, like unplug would be like, so fortunately or unfortunately, like I wanted to race. Everybody always wants to race. So in that process of losing weight, I got a first shot in a race car.
This is the first time that I actually seen anything about the Chazz too.
What do you mean?
Your first opportunity.
When I got to drive the modified.
Yes.
So I was announcing at the track, and the roofing company that I ended up going to work for, it was actually the week I left. That next week, when the owner wasn't there, he let me hot lap that car for 10 laps. I was down to 300 pounds. I'm closer to 300 now, which pisses me off. I got down to 2 and was there for a while, but I got a girlfriend, so I'm eating healthy or whatever you want to call it. But And I got to hot lap that car, so I always wanted to race. Like, we all want to race. There ain't nobody in the fucking stands and a 360 and a 305 or fucking, they all want to race. I mean, you probably even fucking want to race. If
I
you had
did for 2 years.
Well, I'm saying right now, if somebody said, hey, you want to race my car this weekend? Here's a seat, you're in it. You know, let's go.
I'd go.
So, I mean, I lost train of thought. What was I about to say?
You were talking about racing the modified.
And, yeah, like we talked about unplugging, then racing the mod.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So that is a whole kind of other subject. So I got to race there. I got to race a lot in 2020. I got to race a New York big block modified race in Iowa, actually. My first official race was in California in a thing called Tri-State Pro Stock. And it was like a B mod with late model style body. It was a junker, and I like the front end when it turned. I went up the damn wall. All kinds of shit happened. I made a song about it called Malibu Barbie. It's on my Spotify. But anyways, the guy who watched it, I went to go hot lap that car the first time I was gonna race. And before I hot lapped that car, a guy was like, hey, you always wanted to drive a sprint car. So my second time technically in a car hot lapping was a sprint car in California. And I did okay, but it was like first time since racing anything since that hot lap I'd had at Devil's Bowl. And I got 10 laps, and a guy in that hot lap that you're talking about, a guy, track champion, was like, well, if you get within a second of my time, I'll give you $400. And I was 2/10 faster than him, and he still ain't fucking pay me. So, but I was good in R factor, so I was beating guys on the simulator like Larson and Bell and all those big time names. I got in the sprint car. I was okay. I only got like 6 laps. You know, there's only so much you can do from driving my car that's out here to a fucking sprint car and, you know, pick up pace. But I went to go hot lap that Malibu Barbie car, and the fucking brakes fell the car. This car was a fucking junker. So I was like, I ain't had no laps in forever. I just hot lapped the sprint car like 7 months ago, and there was a guy with an IMCA modified there, and this was in Wairika, California. And I got into the modified and got to hot lap it, and it was slick and all that. And they were clocking me, and I was right on time with the guy who drove the car. So I was really enthusiastic to get into this Malibu Barbie car at Antioch Speedway in Antioch, California. I got in there, and the fucking car wouldn't turn. It was tight. It was loose. He told me before I got in the car, you can't hit anybody with the front of the car. I'm like, why? He's like, we don't have any front protection. It'll just smash the radiator. This is how junker this car was. Like, there was no bumper on the car. So I go into turn 3, and there's like 3 cars pile up. I mean, this is all documented. You can go watch it right now. I was mic'd up. I was like, what the fuck? And I hit the wall, and I go up the wall. So anyways, a guy in Arizona had saw this race, and he's like, I know you're fucking better than that. Come try to drive this car. And it was an old Ricky Thornton car in Arizona. Mm-hmm. And I went down there and sucked in the heat race, made it through the B, went from like 24th to 11th. Then I came up here to Iowa, and I raced one of these micro modifieds, these Excel 600 modifieds. I don't know if y'all even heard of them.
So Lakes, are they like a mini mod?
They're like micros with a modified body. Yeah, they're fast. So I get in this little fucking car, and the dude who drives it skinny like you, and I get in there, and I could fit, and I was 200 pounds bad, all this excess skin from losing all the weight. And after he says, it's going to get hot in there because the engine's right there on your leg, just like a micro almost. And I get through with the heat race, and I was like, man, that was pretty fucking hot. And he goes, oh, just push it out. I was going to race 3-day weekend, night there, night in Independence, and then a night at Benton County in Iowa. And I go through the A-main about lap 9 or 10. It's fucking hot. And I'm like, well, he said push it through. So I just went through all the way. And I get out of the car. I'm like, man, it was really hot. I took the suit out, and there's like a hole in my leg. Like, the skin's just hanging off. And it had burned like a hole. Like, it's still there. There's a scar there the size of my fist. But you know me, I go Facebook Live and pop it and fucking rub hand sanitizer in it and all kinds of shit. So I wrap it up. I wrap it up, and the next day we go to Independence. I'm all wrapped up with all kinds of shit over it, and they found out that the pad had moved from the engine that was protecting the heat, but since he was so little with his legs, they never knew. So I was just getting burned on the motor the whole time. So anyways, in that race, once again, filmed and all that. I started outside pole. I did well in the heat. Started outside pole, redrew a 2. Was running the top, blew by all the leaders, and then, like, with 2 to go, like, their national champion passed me and won or whatever. I finished second. Third night, he was going to have a car owner with a car there to race with his son, who's a teammate. The car owner didn't show up, so I was like, here, you just race the car, you know. I was just here to have fun. I almost won last night. No reason for me to, you know, you want to race with your son at this memorial race, the Urbana 5 at Benton County. Then I went and raced a big block modified in New York, a Sportsman, which is a 602 crate, big block. And I did well, but the car was like 20 years old. It's 2003. And I was beating, you know, and those cars are like sprint cars. Like, you can have an outlaw sprint car with the LS motor in it. And I had I was racing those guys with 602s, and I did well, but then the car owner and me just didn't get along. But he was talking about time off and all this. So since I got the girlfriend, we've been doing some time off kind of weekends. And last year, I went to California to do some updates on some websites that I do, because I do a lot of media-based stuff for work. And the guy in Chico, he had a 360 sprint car. He's like, can you come up and run it? For the weekend we had set aside, me and the girlfriend, to go to San Francisco and all this shit. It's Alcatraz and all this stuff. I was in town. He's like, well, if you want to come run the 360 this weekend, you know, you can come run at Silver Cup at Chico, you know. And I turned it down, you know. And that was tough to do. But I was at your point where you're asking me, like, when are you just going to, like, do something else, take time off, you know? And I was like, well, here's my little time off. I mean, racing, if I'm supposed to race cars, another opportunity will come. And that was my mindset at the time, you know, because I'd already done racing. And in New York, like, the tracks get so dusty. There was one point I went down the back straightaways, like my second race up there, and 5th time in a car. And it's so dusty I can't even see where the fuck I'm going. I'm wide open on a half mile, you know, running 120. I can't see the corner or car in front of me, and I'm just barreling. I remember coming off 4, like, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. You know, like, why am I doing this? Right. And then that's when I started analyzing, you know, psychologies, you know. Right. Why do I like racing? Why do I want to be a driver? Is it because I want to be a driver? Because my dad liked racing and he wanted to be one, so I wanted to be one, you know. You start asking yourself about what your personal goals are and how much are they actually your personal goals. Right. Did I want to be a race car driver because I wanted to be, or was it my dad or a family member's goal and that's why I want to be? You know. So I mean, I still want to race. It's something you can't get rid of, but like you're saying, take time off. You know, I have to look at it like the purpose is bigger than the life. You know.
Sure. Makes sense.
You got to have purpose. I think a lot of people that switch you're talking about, the people with the switch still on, don't really have much purpose in their life.
Right.
You know, It's hard to create some. I know I rambled there. And
No, very interesting.
I'm just, that's you got to talk about stuff in those details to even make sense.
Yeah.
You know, if you just say an answer, you can't actually make sense to those who actually think. The little youngin' over there with the Rico shirt on, you know. You know, he's over there all fucked up now, you know.
Yeah. So what's the...
You got to talk to Jesus tonight if you listen to some people, you know, so.
So you're up here for USA Nationals. What is the next track after Wisconsin?
I mean, in Wisconsin?
No, just after here.
If you look at the national racing scene, it would be... You know, obviously 410 Nationals follow this week. Then Jackson Nationals follow that week. And then if you stay sprint cars, or even if you stay sprint cars after Knoxville, I mean, you mentioned Florence. You know, the North-South is the weekend after, same weekend as Jackson. Week after that's River Cities. And then week after that, the Outlaws go to California, and that's when you have a bunch of big late mile races like Topless 100 in Batesville. You have World 100 is in September as well. 4 Crowns of September.
Knoxville Late Model Nationals.
Knoxville Late Model is the end of September. There's a lot of things. I mean, racing cars, if that comes up, I wouldn't say no, you know. I honestly, that helped. As far as exposing, like, little guys, that helped the most. When I would go race these cars, like, New York, the guy at Land of Legends, he was like, when I was racing the car there, they had so many out-of-state pay-per-views for their little weekly broadcast deal. Like he was like, he's like, usually we have like New York and Delaware subscribed. And he was like, when I raced, there was like 16 different states that had bought pay-per-views to watch. And I looked at that as kind of like a help, you know. But there was a lot of negatives to that. Like that big block guy, like after we split in the way we did, because I was like sleeping on a couch. The people he was living with were big about COVID. This was during COVID, and like I couldn't go in the house to shower. I was having to shower in like a hose and shit outside. And,
but yet you're racing this car.
Yeah. And it was like a really old car. It was a junker car. And then they had some issues with the motor, and they were going to halfway like cheat it up. They were going to replace some stuff that was illegal. And that's when I kind of like, actually, that's when I backed out. And the weekend I backed out, I went to Port Royal for the late model race. And that's where you see me and Kyle Larson in Victory Lane at the Port Royal picture. That was the same week that I left. I left Thursday to go to that race, and then he won Saturday, and that's when that happened. Then my car blew up, and I was stuck in fucking PA for like 5 months trying to earn the money to earn that. Ooh. Yeah, that kind of sucked. Luckily, I had friends, you know.
Right.
Had somewhere to stay. I was making money. I was doing Uber Eats, shit like that. So when I'm traveling a lot, if I got Uber Eats, if I get to a major city, I can, you know, bust off $200-$300 in a couple hours doing the Uber Eats shit.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing there. But that the racing deal helped a lot. Like even when they were posting about me sitting in Chris's car, they were all like, "Oh, we need to get him in a car."
Yeah,
like,
I've seen that.
It would help, but it wouldn't help. I mean, it sucks to be racing a car and you ain't like earned it. You know, that's why when I went to New York, like we pulled that car that I raced out of the grass. I've rebuilt it all, video documented all of it, like rebuilding the bearings, rebuilding everything. Yep. So, but racing's cool, racing's fun, but I did learn, you know, it don't really matter. It depends on the situation you're put in. You know, how good is your car? How good is your equipment?
Did we actually ask what he thought about the UMSS?
I don't think so. I think I kind of halfway answered that though when he brought up the 410.
We brought it up. Yeah.
When he brought up how much $70,000 is, you know, that kind of would have been my same answer.
That's 70,000 is quick, probably 5 UMSS cars.
Yeah.
That are good. Like you can build a very good car for $15,000.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And then what about just the local racing in general? Because I assume last Friday was your first time to Red Cedar.
It's actually my second time. I did a broadcast. I was just trying to learn every aspect. I did a lot of work or some work with XR at Bristol, and they wanted me to try to do some shooting of races, and I felt like that took my creativity away and ability to cover events. It was more like a job for a week or two. I eventually said I didn't want to do it anymore, or broke up or whatever you want to call that with XR. But I went there, and it was actually my first time filming a race ever, like on a streaming service. Like I was just a one cam jam deal, they called it. And it was the same weekend as the Colossal 100 that they had at Charlotte. And the Colossal 100 rained out, and so it was like everyone with an XR subscription was tuning in to my first fucking try at filming a show at Red Cedar. It was the Dirt Kings tour at Red Cedar, and so I shot that. That was my first time there. And then this last time was my first time being there. I wouldn't call shooting a racetrack like being there, really. You're not experiencing
You were
anything.
basically just holding the camera.
Filming the race.
All right.
Like, so it was cool. Did they got any sprint car races that go there?
Nope. Used to.
No, it used to.
3 years ago.
I guess it's some safety crybaby shit.
Yeah.
That's usually what most of these little tracks
No
do.
catch fence, blah, blah, blah.
So much.
They used to
bullshit.
they did bring IRA there for a while, and then they had a pretty big 360 class that came up all the time.
It looks like a nice track.
Oh, it's
Big,
it's a
wide,
blast to
slick,
race.
right up on the wall.
It's fun to race.
It's fast to race, yeah.
It's a fun track.
It actually races a lot bigger than it is, too.
Yeah, I know. Like, even when I filmed it, I thought it was a huge, huge track. And then when I filmed it the second time, like in the pits and in the infield, it didn't feel that huge. It felt like a big 3/8.
Yeah, it looks small, but it races really big.
Right. It's high speed.
Yeah.
So I could see why they would not like sprint cars, but.
I love watching that in-car you put on Sammy's.
Oh, yeah.
It's
got a whole show coming from that. It's going to be on the YouTube.
I can't wait.
It's
It's
gonna
a
be good.
fairground track, which is part
But
of
if I
the
go to
problem.
this damn street stock deal, it'll
You
be
gotta
another day.
go.
Oh my god.
I had zero intentions on going to that tomorrow.
I guess you're going.
But, yeah.
Say it.
I lost my train of
Well,
thought.
we've only been recording.
No, we were talking
for
about
a while.
no. I'll help him. I had this
Brent.
issue earlier with the race car deal. You did the same thing to me. You were talking about the fairgrounds and the.
Fairground track.
I was there for the fair or whatever.
and the fair board hates that racetrack. Part of the
It's one
town
those
hates that.
politics.
Even though the economic impact study that was done showed that Red Cedar Speedway infused like $5 million into the Menominee area, something like that. A little less, but whatever. It was a positive economic impact, is my point. But the people live around the racetrack, they don't want it anymore. So they don't want
Is
to
it the
build
people who live there or go to the college?
No, did you notice the
because
houses?
I went to the college and there was some hot ass chicks up in there.
Did you notice the houses behind the grandstands, like up above?
Yeah.
They built them.
after the
racetrack
racetrack
was
was there, and then try to get the racetrack shut down.
Yep.
So I'm sure
Real estate agents do that.
you've seen that story a million times. I'm sure.
Yeah,
right?
that's every racetrack there is.
yeah,
Exactly.
But at least they have the fair. But if the fair is against it, then they're fucked.
right. It's
So what is there a talk every couple of years? They're shutting it down
Every
or-
year.
Basically.
Every
and
year.
they try to get more, like, I don't know. They have to vote on it every year and blah, blah, blah. But
Wow.
as far as the facility goes, what'd you think?
Nice.
Yeah.
They're
And I think it's ran pretty good.
yeah, it was ran efficiently. I mean, they had a lot of cars. It was over pretty early.
Yeah, they do a good
Way
job.
better than the B Mod 5000. You know, with the water truck.
Oh my god.
When they said B
Was
Mod
that
5000, did they mean 5,000 gallons in turn 4? Or?
Is it true that a street stock basically ran them into the wall?
No.
That's what I heard.
I heard the water truck was just coming out of the corner
Yeah.
of the tank
Oh,
dump.
that's
Yeah.
I was told next to us in there in 3.
They just like lost control, right? I thought that's what they said.
Water truck flying around
I heard
sideways. The water truck driver's thinking he was a race car driver, and the tank came off from basically turn 4 to the flag stand.
That's what I heard.
I was
too.
wrong.
You were there at the track. You may know better
Well,
than
that's
me.
some guy told me when I was standing in 3 or 2, exit 2. It's like, yeah,
Anyway.
street
Who
stock.
knows? Well, Chaz,
Oh no. What's the time?
309.
You better ask him the 1 2-minute question.
Well, we will.
did.
I think we should ask just like 2 2-minute questions
No, the-
apiece.
the
No,
main
I will
one.
ask the last one.
One.
All right.
1 2-minute question.
One
Each?
No,
No, just,
just
the one.
one.
All right.
Oh no.
You only get one because, to be honest, I always try to push the 2-minute questions just to
Oh,
see
no.
where
What
we're
did I
at
do?
on this deal. Because
We're at 3.
when you
I feel like
when
I'm
you
on the witness stand at this point.
no. So when you went to go to the bathroom, like we always do 2-minute questions because you can have an extremely really good interview.
Why not talk really long though? So
Well, you can have a really good interview, but you never get to see the personality.
oh no.
So then we throw these random 2-minute questions in, right?
right.
To try to find the personality of the person. Over the course of this entire interview, I think we've found every personality that you
I'm
have.
very transparent.
So therefore, I don't think, and we kind of did flutter a little bit with some 2-minute
We
questions.
flirted with it. Yeah.
So we figured out that you would probably dominate this section.
Oh no.
So we're not going to do it.
The reason being is you've shown us, like Blake said, you've shown us your personality. We don't have to dig for it.
We
So
don't
usually
have-
you do this 2-minute deal because people are little bitches.
Well, sometimes they're really dry, but you want to see if
they're
there is
little
that side.
fucking bitches. You know what those people are? They're worried about their fucking picture on the
Well,
wall
that's
image.
true.
Or they just have a tremendous fear of public speaking. And
You know,
Yeah,
the
kinda-
fear of public speaking is fear of public judgment.
And
they're
they're like-
bitches.
they're like Ricky Bobby.
That's
in
what
his-
it is.
They're like Ricky Bobby.
That's
in
what
his
it
First
is.
ever interview. Car ran good. I don't know what to do with
Dude,
my hands. That's what they're
Like
like. though.
that answer is exactly why we don't need to do 2-minute questions.
Right there. 100%.
It was
But
perfect.
that's the truth. Anyone who gets on this fucking anything, any fucking Facebook, anything. And I was talking about this earlier today with somebody. I was like, Twitter is YouTube for bitches who are scared.
Yeah.
Like aliases and
so true.
aliases and all this fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Keyboard
it's
warriors.
like I'll say what I think, but I don't want you to know who I am. You know,
Yeah.
the difference between YouTube and Twitter is bitches.
Yeah.
You don't want no one to know what you think. If you're not a bitch, you put your face on it. If you're a bitch, you fucking hide under Wikipedia. You know. You fucking sponsor Larson, you know.
Oh my god.
World of Outlaws PR director sponsoring a driver who isn't even in your series.
Can we sign up for round 2 with this?
Hey,
I mean,
man,
it's gonna
I
be
gotta-
like a 3-part now.
It was so nice being at, it's nice being at Chris's. You know, I have a spot where I can record my talk videos.
Streamer, that thing's kind of badass.
It's somewhere, you
Yeah.
know, with a consistent background, you know, because all my videos always have different backgrounds because I'm always on the go. You know, I was like, man, moving up here would be nice. Really would be nice.
Yeah, well, there's
Come on.
That's
else?
the difference. Like, I don't know. It still would be the road.
The point is, we want to have you back.
yeah.
We want to have you back on.
I want to hear experiences and things over the years.
Yeah.
yeah, like
We want to
You
hear.
want to hear the incriminating things.
We want to hear
No,
stories.
I
from
want
the
to
road.
hear stories from the road.
Oh my
Story.
god! Like the grizzly bear.
oh no, we can't talk about it now.
Yeah, not now. I'm saying like I want to make sure you'll be able to come back.
I don't know when.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can come.
We
back.
could do Discord. We could do anything.
We can do a bunch
Yeah,
of
but
stuff.
in person's so much.
Oh,
better.
for
Oh,
sure.
100%,
Sounds
yeah.
way better.
I mean,
too.
honestly, if this was
Well-
on my YouTube channel every week, it would be the number one thing in the whole racing world. It would destroy them all.
I'd love to do it.
Yeah,
Hell,
I
put
would.
us on your.
That's why I was
fucking
saying,
YouTube
can I
channel.
get a copy of this?
Oh,
I was going to
absolutely.
put it on my YouTube instantly.
For sure.
If it's
Absolutely.
legal, I don't know. I know
Why
it's your
would it be
deal.
illegal?
It's your deal. It's
Well,
your
you just got to
recording.
put us on there somehow.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a video version technically. I would just need the audio, and I would sync it.
Perfect.
We
Yeah.
could do it.
We'll get you that. No problem.
Okay. How fast? Is it a file?
It'd have to be like 3 days because the Nationals tomorrow and Wednesday.
Why?
For the guy that owns the bar and does all.
Well, I
that.
guess you could take it off the card.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
take.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Why are we still recording this?
That's good
We
stuff.
could talk about this afterwards.
Yes.
This is
Okay.
good stuff. No, fuck him.
No, it is
dude
good
who
stuff.
owns it, fuck you.
Wow.
He just gave verbal approval in the court of law.
No, we'll definitely give you audio copy. Why won't we?
Yeah. For
Well,
sure.
because I could sync it with video and post it tomorrow, and now when you release it
Exactly.
in 3 weeks, nobody wants to listen to it because they've already watched it.
They'll still listen.
That's what I'm worried
They'll
about.
listen.
We
That's
still
the
have our
problem.
followers.
That's
worry
the
about
only
that.
problem.
I don't have a problem with
If
it.
you're not
No
worried
cares.
about that, then that's what I'm.
No,
we still have all
You know
of
what
our-
I'm saying, though, right? If
Yeah.
I release something tomorrow and it comes out,
but
3
it'll
weeks
help.
later,
It'll help us.
That's
too.
just going to put more people
Right.
back to listen to other episodes.
yeah, I could put a logo on the top, put links in there and everything.
Well, you're getting a shirt when you leave.
Oh shit!
Plus, you're getting.
Oh no, I'm branded.
You getting some swag.
Oh, I could brand you.
Oh my god.
We got plenty of cattle.
Oh my god! Wow. I already
You
got
staying
branded by
overnight?
Iowa in that fucking
Oh,
race
no.
car.
I got a B2 that I can weld together
Fuck
and heat
you.
B2 was
Fuck
my
you.
number too.
up. I know.
My super stock.
I already told you I can't be bought, so can't be branded either. The fuck?
You were talking about whips, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They
Goddamn,
come
well, you
in
said
many
you wanted to
forms.
stay on my couch.
No, see,
Come on,
see, he's
son.
already playing the card. This is when I hit the road.
Oh, fuck no. I'm just playing. All right. Well, yes.
So no 2 minutes. You're done.
Nope, didn't need it.
You don't need
What
2
the
minutes.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did not need
Do you
it.
want to go through one? Like, take
Any
literally.
one of these fucking, and you put this shit, any one of you little bitches who
All right.
have to have 2 minutes to tell people who you are, you're a fucking bitch. You're a little fucking pansy ass
All right.
bitch. You're
Are you
worried
ready?
about your image. You're a punk.
Okay, here you go. It's only me asking the questions. Any unusual places that you've been? Quickest, fastest answer right now.
Oh god, that's
So you failed
hard.
already?
That's so hard. Oh, I got the perfect one. What's it called? Petrified Natural Forest.
Weirdest text you've ever gotten?
Oh wow. Probably would be an email that was getting sued.
Most annoying noise.
Caitlin Larson's voice.
Toilet paper over or under?
That's what she said. Either or.
If you own a race team, who's your driver?
Myself.
What's your dream
Damn.
dirt track look like?
Quarter-mile progressive banking with the wall
Stands?
surrounding.
What kind of food you serving?
0 sales.
You had me up until vegan.
Yeah.
Hey, man, vegan tacos are good.
What food have you eaten, or what food have you never eaten but would really like to try?
Oh, God. That I don't think there is one.
What animal?
Shark.
Oh, that would be. Mm-hmm. What animal is most majestic?
Octopus.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I've never thought of it.
No.
Well, if he studied Nazis, he knows what
All
I'm
right,
talking
so
about.
that was a full 2 minutes. You did great.
Good job.
You did great. Now, the final question.
Oh, God.
What are you built to do?
Masturbate.
Put it on a t-shirt. Put it on a t-shirt.
There we go, boy.
Leave that on
That woke
Hey,
me
man.
up,
Hey,
folks.
hey, man, if you don't go after the money, you ain't getting the honey. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
If you don't go after the money, you ain't getting the honey.
that.
You got to
just-
get used to it.
That's probably the best answer to any. Yeah. and
I've marked my territory at plenty of rest areas. You know
I
what
will
I'm saying?
leave a towel for you.
Oh, paper, so we can recycle. You know, you need to recycle over here.
Chaz, you've been full of.
I'm kidding.
Don't
I
leave your
hope.
dirty socks here.
Hey, oh God.
Chaz, this has been really insightful
Oh,
And hilarious at
and
the same time.
awesome and hilarious. And I think not only have you given the three of us a lot to think about, I think you've given all those that will listen to this a lot to think about
This will
too.
definitely be a podcast to
Oh,
listen
boy.
to more than once.
this will
Yeah.
be Larson's new Bible.
Have you done a
Larsonite's
podcast this
Bible.
long before?
No, I think I should more often, but no. I want to bounce
This is
in.
the longest one we've had by far.
Oh,
Nice.
It's been great.
These are
Been
what they
wonderful.
should be. These are what
Yeah.
podcasts are meant to be. Is 3 hours.
Correct.
absolutely.
I totally agree. I mean, this getting into where we started to where it went to where we were most entertained and most focused on it, and then to the ending to where you actually get to,
Do y'all have racers on most of the time?
yeah, all the time.
Well, then
yeah.
they need to stop being little bitches and start
We've had-
talking.
We had one guy. We asked him, "What's the strangest reason why you went to the hospital?" And he said he broke his unit.
Yeah.
You know, so he's definitely.
I mean, there is people, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, the way this podcast went is exactly what I pictured.
Nice. Thought is creation.
Well, yeah. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I pictured as podcast. It wasn't to interview how many wins you had.
Right.
It was to interview why you do it and what got you there and
Yeah.
why you want to keep doing it and
Right.
what makes you want to keep doing it and who you are. Who are you as a person?
And you've,
Defied that.
yeah.
You've
By a
definitely
long
gotten us
shot.
there.
Well, only reason I keep looking this way is because I see the screen is dim. That means we're at 5%. So we definitely used all of the.
The card is down to 15 minutes
Oh,
left to
damn.
record on. So
Wow.
we've done good.
All right.
Okay.
I appreciate the opportunity. I'd like to thank Chris Vogel for the opportunity
Right,
of
getting me
letting
up
me
here.
know and getting you up here. And
Right.
appreciate you doing Sammy as far as recording and all the other people.
And yeah, thanks a ton for what you do for the racing family too.
Yeah.
Trying.
Absolutely.
You guys like you are a huge diamond in the rough.
It needs to be
and-
bigger than racing. you
and
know.
to get to know you, the person behind the videos, so to speak. Yeah, they're one of the same, which has been wonderful. It's been great to be able to talk to you. I was a fan before, and I didn't know who we were interviewing until
Literally, you were basically walking. in the door.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no clue.
Cool.
The Amish assassin over there wouldn't tell me, but yeah, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Really appreciate it, and
Good.
Come on back.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we can keep
absolutely.
working together on stuff and keep knowing each other too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, Chaz.
Thank you.
No problem. Long live the
Badass.
Chaz on YouTube.
Yeah, give us
YouTube,
your
Facebook.
give
Yeah.
us your shout outs.
YouTube, Facebook, longlivethechaz.com. I got hats and stuff on there. If anybody wants one, I don't have the money to buy them to have them with me. It's online only. So
All right. Everybody
only
go
make like
follow.
$5 on the hat, so it ain't like I'm raking in the money.
That's rough, dude.
But well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yep. Go grab a hat. Check out all of his videos on YouTube. This was episode 69, probably part 3 by now. But
69,
probably up to
70,
episode
71.
Oh God.
All
thank
right.
you, Chaz. The Chaz, episode 69 on the Built 2 Media podcast.
Thank you.
As always, that was anticlimactic. You got something to say? Hit up the Built 2 Media podcast and let them know. Like, comment, and share on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and at built2media.com. Thank you, Built 2 Media sponsors. QualityFreightRate.com, Liquid Nitro Energy Drink, SKD, Scott King Designs, Thunderhill Speedway, Kick-Ass Beef Jerky, Jiggy Signs, Harvest Racing, K1 Race Gear by Ryan Bowers, Spot On, Point of Sale System Credit Card Processing, and PrettyPolishJunkie.com. Get your Built 2 Media podcast fix. Get everything you want and get everything you need at built2media.com, except for the t-shirts. Figure it out. Be back next week for another exciting Built 2 Media podcast. The Built 2 Media Podcast.
This is